All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. It is September 16th. Welcome to the Land Use and Zoning Committee. We will go ahead and start with introductions to my left.
Mike Gay, District 2, just visiting.
Rockman Johnson, District 14. Good afternoon.
Councilman Reginald Gaffney Jr., District 8.
Joe Carlucci, District 5.
Terrence Freeman at large, Group 1.
Randy White, District 12.
Kevin Carrico, District 4, here to help a quorum for 30 minutes max.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. We appreciate that. Your old stomping grounds.
Dylan Rangel with the Office of General Counsel.
Susan Kelly, Planning Department.
Aaron Abney, Planning Department.
Casey Cox, Planning Department.
All right, and our 2 pages here, if y'all will stand up so we can thank you for coming down. We appreciate you. Our second round of pages, so we are continuing to fill these seats, and it's a great opportunity for you guys to just kind of see how the government functions on a land use and zoning side, which is usually a majority of our agenda, so thank you for that. And just a quick side note, I will have to step out once Councilmember Arias gets here because I've had a family emergency come up. So unfortunately, I will only be chairing this meeting until he gets here or there's a good stopping point. So that is one quick announcement from me. And then with that, we will go to Mr. Reingold to read the order of the chamber for tonight.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I just want to cover a couple ground rules for LUZ's committee tonight. First, please no clapping or cheering on any of the matters before us tonight. Second, during the public hearing portion of an agenda item, you will have 3 minutes, so presentations must be focused and concise and should only address the item before us. If a speaker is repetitive or gets off topic, that speaker may be given a warning. If after a warning a speaker is still repetitive or still does not remain on topic, we may cut the speaker off. Finally, all of our quasi-judicial item decisions tonight must be based upon substantial competent evidence, which means that the decision must be supported by fact-based testimony or expert testimony and not just on generalized concerns or opinions. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Reingold. We appreciate that. And with that, we're going to kind of go through the first, let's see, first 8 pages of the agenda for you folks out there. And then we're going to skip over to page 24. 24, Mr. White. Is that the veterinarian that has a dog emergency? And then we're going to go to Mr. Wallace's. He also has an engagement that he needs to get to, and those were on page... What page were those on, Mr. Reingold? There we go. Sorry, 14. Okay, so that's going to be number 2. All right. So item number 1, if everyone's ready to get this plane in the air. Item number 1, 2025-172 is deferred. Item number 2, 2025-173 is deferred. Item number 2025-176, open the public hearing. And we don't have a staff report on this, correct? Okay, so hold on, let me just look through these because... Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to come back to this one because unfortunately we are not taking any action on this item tonight, and there's other folks that are here that need to get to their prior engagement, so we will get to these cards, but first we need to take up the items that we already agreed to at the agenda meeting. So we will, how do we do that, Mr. Reingold? Can we just skip past number 3?
So you have opened the public hearing. Why don't we just table that public hearing, and if you want, we can jump to, I think you wanted to go to item 51?
Yeah, so we'll table item number 3, and we will go to now item number 51, 2025-636. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Item number 51 on page 24, 2025-636, sign waiver on Blanding Boulevard. Okay, Councilmember White, you're recognized for ex parte.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chair. I'm going to do my ex parte. I talked to Mr. Patrick Joyce about a week ago on this sign that's been there 34 years. He explained it to me why they need a waiver, and that's been turned in and filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. With that, we will open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is sign waiver 2025-636, which seeks to reduce the setback for a monument sign from 10 feet to 6 feet. The subject site is a .42 acre parcel located at the intersection of Blanding Boulevard and Wilson Boulevard. The request is for an existing sign, which was originally permitted and installed in 1973, and to allow for a potential replacement sign in the same location. The site has been developed and used as the Cedar Hills Animal Hospital since 1989. The existing sign is located along Blanding Boulevard. Blanding Boulevard has undergone numerous widenings and reconfigurations at this intersection, causing the sign to encroach further into the required setback. Meeting the required 10-foot yard setback would inhibit maneuverability within the parking lot. Staff finds the request to be consistent with the character of the area, and for the other reasons in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you so much. So with that, the public hearing is open. Do we have any on 636, Stephen? No. Mr. Joyce, are you here, obviously? Okay, did you fill out a public speaker card?
I did not.
Okay, do you wish to speak?
Well, just very briefly, Ms. Cox did an excellent job of summarizing the comments that I was going to make. And for Dr. Acree, I wanted to thank her. She's been especially helpful through this process. Paragraph 18 of our application lays out in more detail the history of the sign and what has caused the supposed encroachment. It also sets forth the rationale for why we believe the waiver is due to be granted. I appreciate your time and happy to answer any questions if there are any.
All right, we just need you to now fill out a public speaker card and state your name and address right now on the record.
My name is Patrick Joyce. My address is 14 East Bay Street, Jacksonville, 32202.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Seeing no speakers in the queue, we're going to close the public hearing, bring it back to committee. Need a motion on the bill? All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Any discussion? Seeing none, open the ballot, record your vote.
Five yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-636. All righty. Thank you, Mr. Joyce. Now, council members, we are going to be going on to page 14, 2025-586. We're going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you, Chair. Ordinance 2025-586 is for a small-scale land use amendment of approximately 34.48 acres at 7046 and 7059 Ramona Boulevard, just east of I-295. The applicant seeks a land use change from medium-density residential to community general commercial for 21.78 acres, and then medium-density residential to conservation, CSV, for 12.7 acres. The site is in Planning District 5, Council District 9, and the Urban Development Area. These parcels were formerly designated as CGC land use prior to 2020, and this small-scale amendment would revert them back to the prior land use to allow for commercial development on the northern portion of the property while preserving the wetlands on the southern portion of the property. The proposed CGC is a logical extension of the CGC area abutting the subject site to the north across Ramona Boulevard. For these reasons and those outlined in the staff report, the Planning Department recommends approval. The Planning Commission heard this item at their September 4th meeting and unanimously recommended approval with a vote of 7-0 with minimal discussion. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Are there any speaker cards on 586? Seeing none. Mr. Wallace, did you fill out a speaker card?
Yes, I did, but just appearing for questions.
Questions only? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to committee. All right, motion and a second on the bill. Any? Yeah, we got it. All right, no discussion. Open the ballot, record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-586. Moving on to item number 28, 2025-587. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, we're going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion conventional rezoning ordinance 2025-0587 for properties that are located at the end of Ramona Boulevard and just south of I-10. The rezoning is for approximately 34.48 acres to go from RMDD to CCG2 and conservation. 21 acres of that will go to CCG2 and 12.7 acres will go to conservation. The property owner is seeking to rezone to CCG2 to allow for indoor vehicle uplifting facility to use as fleet vehicles for various industries. There will be outside storage areas for these vehicles, which would require a zoning exception within the CCG2 zoning district, which will be addressed in the companion application. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan with the approved land use category of CGC. The subject property is located off of Ramona Boulevard, which again is a dead-end road. On the southwest corner of Ramona, there's the flea market. South of the subject site, there are residential properties. However, these residential properties will be adequately buffered by the conservation land that is undergoing the rezoning. The north side of Ramona Boulevard properties are developed with commercial uses. So the proposed rezoning to CCG2 and conservation will be consistent and compatible with the surrounding existing industrial, commercial, and residential uses. This will provide a gradual shift of land and zoning uses at the corner of I-295 and I-10. So because of these reasons and those in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval. Application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and they voted unanimously for approval.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much. We have one speaker card, Mr. John Wallace. Questions only? Yes, sir. Okay. With that, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Motion and second on the bill. Any discussion? Seeing none, open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-587. All right, last one for Mr. Wallace, 2025-588. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, we're going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion zoning exception, ordinance 2025-0588, which is seeking to allow for an automobile storage yard within the CCG2 zoning district. Historically, the subject property has been used for overflow parking associated with the adjacent Ramona flea market. All vehicles stored on the property will be new vehicles that are either stored and awaiting transport, where they will be uplifted for use as fleet vehicles for various industries or awaiting transport to their buyers. There will be a fencing around the automobiles, outside parking area, and then a 10-foot perimeter buffer along that area as well. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that it is consistent with the comp plan. Again, the site will be adequately buffered from any existing residential by the acres of land that are in conservation. So because of these reasons and those listed in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation for the companion zoning exception. Was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and they voted unanimously for approval.
All right, thank you so much. With that, we have one speaker card, Mr. John Wallace. Questions only? All right, no speakers in the queue. Close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Motion to second on the bill. Any discussion? Seeing none, open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-588.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wallace. Have a good evening. Now we will go back. Okay, so update for me. There was a little bit of a false alarm, so I will be chairing the meeting until, I know, you rushed back. I know, you're good, fine, see you later. Hey, thank you guys for, yeah. Look, man, y'all have been there, y'all know. All right. Well, everybody's dipping out now. What? We're still running the meeting. All right. My gosh, these guys, what am I going to do? Yeah, Terrence, sit down. All right. Look at this crew I got with me up here tonight. Okay. Where did we leave off, Mr. Reingold? Okay, item number 3, we'll go ahead and open. You can declare ex parte now if you want, but let's go ahead and get the speaker cards back over for 176, please. Yeah, if you want to declare ex parte now, you can, but you might have more to declare later if you continue to get communication between now and the final vote. I would suggest doing it at the final vote, because tonight you're going to get more. That's just my recommendation. All right, so let me sort these. A lot of them don't wish to speak. 1 second, folks. All right, so first up, well, first of all, is the applicant here? Do you wish to speak first? Ms. Trimmer, do you wish to speak? No? Okay. We'll just go to the speaker cards then. We have Tom Mack and then Jason Reif. Okay. What's your name? Okay. Does not wish to speak. Got it. Jason? All right. Come on down. Name and address.
Good evening. My name is Jason Reif. Address is on file. I am local to these ordinance, by the way. Just want to make it short and sweet. We got several more that we're going to address tonight, but on behalf of the community, I think all of you in here have probably received multiple emails from people addressing their concerns since they can't be here tonight. So, and since they're not here to speak on it, I don't really have anything further to say besides thanks for your consideration.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Nora Sweat. Nora Sweat, and then Jim Sweat. Come on down, unless you... Raise your hand if you don't want to speak. No wish to speak? Okay. If you don't want to speak, just call it out. There's a little box on the card. That's how we know. So they are in opposition to the bill, both of them. Mr. Robert McFeely. Come on down if you wish to speak. Next, we have Thomas Smith, James Drost, and Joanne Greco. Name and address, sir.
All right. Robert McFeely, address on file. Good evening, council members. I'm speaking tonight in strong opposition to rezoning application of 2025-0176. At the request of the council, our community agreed to an expedited meeting, even postponing a previously scheduled community meeting to accommodate this request. When the community meeting regarding application 0176 was held, it was met with overwhelming opposition from residents. The proposed rezoning from residential rural to PUD is fundamentally inconsistent with the surrounding neighborhood's character and scale. This area is defined with low-density, rural-style development, and introducing high-density zoning would disrupt the fabric and undermine the intent of the existing land use. Despite multiple plan revisions, the developer has failed to meaningfully address community concerns. These changes appear more tactical than substantive, with little regard for compatibility or reasonable growth. The latest deferral appears to be a tactic aimed at weakening public engagement, not addressing legitimate concerns. This is unacceptable. Under City Ordinance Section 656122, an application for rezoning may not be withdrawn or amended after required fees have been paid to the tax collector without council approval. This council has both the authority and the responsibility to deny this application outright. I respectfully urge you to do so, denying this rezoning application and preventing any further time, resources, or public trust from being wasted on a proposal that does not serve the community's interest. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Thomas Smith. Okay, you're here and you are in opposition to the bill. The zoning, James Drost.
Good evening, Council. My name is James Drost, live at 14532 Yellow Bluff Road. I just want to echo the same sentiments of what you've just heard, and I've heard it before, and I've heard it before. I just want to go on record tonight saying that we have sent, my wife and I have sent several emails to each one of you over the last couple of weeks, and I hope that you've taken the time to read them, digest them, and to take a look at the plan, the 2045 plan, because there are a lot of discrepancies in that plan according to the development guidelines and what the developers are trying to put in these plots of land. Also, if we could go back and just take a peek at what's already been built and shoved into those areas over the last 5 years and take that in consideration with the amount of properties we're going to continue to throw in to our, what we call paradise up there in the north. Thank you, guys and ladies.
All right, thank you, sir. Joanne Greco? Here, don't wish to speak. Okay, I hear her. Don't wish to speak. Opposes the zoning. Okay. Karen Curtin? Don't wish to speak. Okay. Opposes the bill. Ruth Nelson Peoples? Come on down. Joseph Lewis, you're next. And Beverly Lewis. Okay, don't wish to speak? Got it. Name and address, ma'am?
Good evening, Ruth Nelson Peoples. My address is on file. And I'm not sure if this is the right way to do this, but I was just wondering, can we get some clarification on who deferred the ordinance? Was it deferred because the builder or attorney requested it, or did the city request it?
It was the applicant, I think.
The applicant?
Yeah, the applicant has the ability to request a deferral.
Okay. And the reason that I'm asking is because I want to make it known that at the applicant's request, we held a very quick meeting because they said that they had a deadline so that they could get everything ready for this meeting. And our councilman, Mike Gay, delayed his bi-monthly meeting. He had a reservation at the Ocean Way Community Center, and he delayed his monthly meeting for the entire community so that we could meet with this developer, so that he said, or this applicant, so that they could get it ready. Yet still they deferred it. I just believe that these deferments are a tactic to dwindle the number of people that come down, because that was on.
You got to kind of stick to the zoning, ma'am. I'm sorry. I mean, I understand what
okay.
you're saying, but for the public hearing, you do have to kind of stick to the zoning.
Okay. I'm hoping that this delay means that the petitioner is working on some meaningful change to their plan, not just to change a few lots to a larger size. We want neighborhoods where people want to live for a long time, not just something to start with and then rent out, or not just something to buy as a rental. Neighborhoods with sidewalks, green spaces, trees, recreational space for families. Starter homes are great, but we already have a lot of starter homes right off of New Berlin. I just was wanting to wait because I see that Mr. Johnson is holding a conversation, and I spent a lot of time to come down here, and it would be nice if I had some attention as well. We would like homes that are not just bought to rent, but there are neighborhoods already on New Berlin that they are building to rent. The signs outside say, "We are building these homes to rent." I believe it's AMH that does that. I could tell you exactly, but I need to look it up. And that's it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for listening to me.
All righty. The rest of the speakers do not wish to speak, and I'll go ahead and read them into the record now. Joseph Lewis opposes. Beverly Lewis oppose. Marie Kreider oppose. Donna Gleaton oppose. Linda Mack oppose. Jane Love oppose. Gail Smith oppose. Francis Eckert oppose. John Greco oppose. Reese Grant oppose. Michael Curtin oppose. Margaret Drost oppose. Ann Eckert oppose. James Pippin oppose. Karen Gasson oppose. Nicole Repovich oppose. Catherine Del Rey oppose. And Edward Nagel oppose. That's all the public hearing cards that we have. So this public hearing is continued until 10/7/25. Item number 4, 2025-215, open the public hearing. Oh, who's doing the... All right, thank you, sir. Feels like the same stack of cards, right? Okay, about the same weight here. So we'll go through these with, first we will start, Ms. Trimmer, always give the courtesy of the first 5 minutes to the applicant. You do not wish to speak? You're good? Okay, just wanted to offer that. Mr. Jason Reif, would you like to come down? Come on down.
Here we are again. Jason Reif, address on file. I, and along with a lot of others in the community, strongly oppose this bill. One of the main reasons, which I was hoping to hear Ms. Trimmer speak on, was the fact that she completely went back on everything she said last meeting that we had. We had an agreement that they weren't going to do anything but single-family homes at a minimum of 40s, which was still unacceptable to us at the time and unfitting for the neighborhood. But now they're coming back with an RMDA, which effectively, as far as I understand, is taken about 20 steps back from what they had previously proposed at the last meeting. This would open us up to a wide variety of multi-purpose, multi-use, multi-family structures, apartments, living centers, things like that, that granted we have one in the area already, but those type of things are not suited for this community. Most of the stuff out there in District 2, mind you, District 8 is closely to that, which a lot of the other stuff is in. But in zone or District 2 is the complete opposite. We are a very rural area, and as per the 2045, it states in there multiple times under different situations and circumstances that HUD and anything of the sort is unfavorable in a residential rural area because it invites urban sprawl, crime, traffic issues, infrastructure issues, things of that nature. So I'm sad to see that she didn't decide to explain herself as to why they went to an RMDA instead of pursuing what we asked or suggested last time. And I would actually urge her or encourage her to get up here and defend herself as far as that goes. And obviously it's not something I can force, but I would definitely like to hear, and actually she's here, so I'd like to surrender the rest of my time to her and or just hear what she has to say about that.
Okay, well, there won't be any surrendering of time, but we will we will now hear from Ms. Trimmer. Go ahead, name and address, and we'll get you to fill out a card later.
Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200, on behalf of the applicant. We had mentioned on the record last time that when the folks spoke up and said that they took issue with what was being proposed, we were going to table it, go back to try to work with the seller, see what might be viable on this. That's the exercise we're still doing, so that's why it's continuing to be deferred, so that we can see if we can come back to something that's responsive to the feedback that we did hear when the folks were here last time. We're not going to move it forward until we have that answer, but that is what we're continuing to work on.
Okay. Thank you.
It is not RMDA. We heard that that's not what folks want, so we're trying to come back with something that is larger lots.
Okay, understood. And for, I guess, the clarification, Mr. Reingold, on the agenda, it's saying it's going to RMDA. So until, I guess, they change their minds or make a change, that will continue to show as RMDA on the agenda?
Through the chair, back to the chair. What I heard at a prior meeting on this one is that they were going to request an amendment for the LUZ committee to adopt that would move it to RLD 40. Mm-hmm. At that meeting, there was a lot of public outcry still against RLD 40. At the time, this committee did not adopt that amendment, so the bill still stands in the RMDA posture.
Right. So just for clarity out there for all the folks, it's going to stay at RMDA because that's how they originally filed it, but it can be changed. So that's why it says that on the agenda, and I think the intent is for them to change it, but we don't want to change it from one thing and then it come back and we got to change to another thing. So they want to get it right on the First Amendment, the first go around. So just wanted to add that piece of clarification. Again, if I call your name and you don't wish to speak, because we had a couple of those cards last time that didn't check the bottom of the box, please just raise your hand, and that will mean you don't wish to speak, because I can't really see who is out there. So, Linda Mack. Oh, okay, quick hand. Dang, I didn't even see it. All right, she is in opposition. Jane Love. Didn't see a hand. Opposition. All right, Thomas Smith. All right, opposes. James Drost. Opposes. Nora Sweat. Opposes. Jim Sweat. Opposes. Joanne Greco. No hand, but opposes. Okay. Karen Curtin. Karen Curtin. Oppose. Michael Curtin. Oppose. Margaret Drost. Oppose. Tom Mack. Oppose. Kathy Nagel. Oppose. Jason Reif. You already came down, right? You're snuck in there again. John Spurgeon. All right. Opposed. Beverly Lewis. Does not wish to speak. Opposes. Joseph Lewis. Opposes. Does not wish to speak. Robert McFeely. Come on down. And then after Robert McFeely, we have Ruth Nelson Peoples.
Robert McFeely, address on file. Good evening, council members. Thank you again for your time. I'm here to speak in opposition to rezoning application 2025-0215. This application should have been dismissed on August 19th when the applicant abruptly shifted from a townhome proposal following significant public opposition to a request for RLD 40 zoning. That pivot was not a genuine compromise. It was a tactical move to salvage a failing application. At that point, the process should have been restarted. Allowing it to proceed without starting over is unfair to both the public and this council, and it undermines the integrity of the rezoning process. It is evident that the developer is not engaging in a genuine or constructive dialogue with either the community or the council. Rather, their approach to be one of deliberate delay aimed primarily at identifying the most financial advantageous option without due consideration for the community. This is spot zoning, plain and simple. It benefits one applicant at the expense of a neighborhood stability and violates the intent of the comprehensive plan, which calls for compatibility and consistent land use. There is no demonstrated public need for this change. It serves private interests and is entirely incompatible with the surrounding residential, rural, and RLD 100 areas. The rezoning process should be fair, transparent, and community-driven, not a waiting game designed to wear down opposition. I respectfully urge the council to deny this application under City Ordinance 656.122 and require the applicant to restart the process that is more consistent with the surrounding area of residential, rural, and RLD 100. The community deserves a fair process, not one marked by deferrals and disregard for public input. And lastly, based off what Ms. Trimmer just said, this application should be denied. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Ruth Nelson Peoples.
Ruth Nelson Peoples, my address is on file. I'm just wondering, on some of the other properties, I saw site plans. The only thing that I've seen on this is a request for 220 townhomes, and I didn't see anything indicating how they wanted those set up, if there were lakes or anything like that. I would just think that would be something that we would be able to see beforehand. And I haven't seen anything on that online on the bill. I clicked on all the blue links. I also would like to ask that there be no more deferments on this. It was made abundantly clear on August the 12th what the expectations were. So that was over a month ago to work on this. And I would like to request that this be denied, that the ordinance be denied. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, the following speakers do not wish to speak, but are all in opposition to the bill. Shirley Spurgeon, Laura Fulford, Joanne D'Angelo, Mary Kreider, Donna Gleaton, Gail Smith, Risa Grant, Francis Eckert, John Greco, Ann Eckert, Karen Gasson, James Pippin, Nicole Repovich, Catherine Del Rey, and Edward Nagel. And those are the last of the public speaker cards. So with that, we will continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Next item up, we have 2025-242, open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 6, 2025-243. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 7, 2025-448. Open the public hearing. 2 speaker cards. Chrissy Kine, Susan Grandin. Kinney, sorry. Chrissy Kinney. Still getting used to it. Come on down, Chrissy.
Chrissy Kinney, address on file. I'm very pleased that Councilmember White and Mr. Hagan will be meeting with all the stakeholders interested in upholding the pertinent elements as 2045 comprehensive plan of this bill. And I also thank you for choosing to protect our valuable and ever-depleting natural environment while promoting growth that serves our today and preserves our tomorrows, even more especially in the shadow of Senate Bill 180 and its direct sovereign punch to home rule. That said, I oppose this bill. It relaxes landscaping requirements for commercial properties, but that directly contradicts the Jacksonville Comprehensive Plan, which this body is legally bound to uphold. Our plan is clear. Developers must require sustainable landscaping, and the city must enact ordinances that protect water, soil, and vegetation. For examples, I provided you with a list of those comprehensive plan elements and their policies for reference. These are not suggestions, they are binding policies that say must and not may. Relaxing landscaping requirements doesn't just weaken our codes, it places Jacksonville out of compliance with its own plan and with state-level stormwater and irrigation standards, to include commercial, residential, industrial, or otherwise. Equally troubling, the bill ignores resiliency directives. Policies under the conservation infrastructure and recreation elements must enact erosion controls, aquifer protections, nutrients, reduction retrofits, and preservation of unique vegetation. Without robust landscaping standards, we undermine those goals and shift those costs of flooding, nutrient pollution, heat island effects onto taxpayers instead of developers and property owners. At its core, this bill contradicts the city's obligation to enact and enforce environmental infrastructure protections, and it trades long-term resiliency for short-term convenience. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Susan Grandin.
Good evening, LUZ Committee. Susan Grandin, 4146 San Juan Avenue, here representing Scenic Jacksonville. We just wanted to thank Councilmember White for his leadership and putting together a meeting to talk to the interested parties. I think that's going to go a long way for coming up with perhaps a really good solution to help the redevelopment of commercial properties while still having some trees in the parking lot. So thank you very much, Councilmember White.
All right. Did you have something? Oh, okay. Ms. Grandin, Councilmember Johnson says it's good to see you.
Glad to have her back for us. She ran away so quickly.
I know. She's doing good work. For those of you in the audience, Ms. Grandin used to work at the city and did an amazing job, and now she continues to come back and do amazing things. So it's always good to see a familiar face. All right, with that, we are going on to item number 8, 2020. Yep, we continued the public hearing until 10/7/25. Number 8, 2025-449, open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 9, 2025-487 is deferred. Item number 10, 2025-488 is deferred. Item number 11, 2025-493, open the public hearing. No, there's no staff, well, we don't, yep, okay, so we'll go to the speaker cards first. And again, if you don't wish to speak and you forgot to check the box, just raise your hand. Otherwise, come on down. Joanne D'Angelo. And followed by Beverly Lewis and Joseph Lewis. Okay.
Joanne D'Angelo, 1565 Jake Road. I've been at that address for 50 years now. All of this got pushed through as far as before now and these two that I'm here for tonight. We did not know what he was doing. We were told, first of all, that it was going to be green belted. Then we were told he was going in the cattle business. And then on January of this year, this started in 2023, January of this year is when we found out that the property was going to be developed. And so that's where we are now. We oppose all of these developments in our area out there. The storm drains, the ditches, nothing can sustain what we're getting now. We're getting so much flooding on Jake Road, on Ed Johnson Road. Ed Johnson's where the biggest part of the development's going to be. But Jake Road is getting, it's bad. It's like a 10 or 15 minute rain and you can't even see the road. They've already ripped out some of the trees. They did that last year or early this year. And they haven't even started construction or taken out any other trees or anything like that. So it is getting worse and worse. So the road, as far as Yellow Bluff goes, we have people coming from Georgia, Callahan, Fernandina Beach, Yulee, all the different areas around there that cut through to go to their jobs and their workplaces, their schools and all of that. Yellow Bluff Road is a cut through from Main Street all the way through and goes over the bridge. So we have all of that traffic and it's 2-lane roads. We have 2-lane roads there. So I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening. I pray that all of you listened and hear us. I prayed that on the way here, that all of you would listen and hear us. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Nora Sweat. Does not wish to speak. Jim Sweat does not wish to speak, both in opposition. Joanne Greco does not wish to speak in opposition. Karen Curtin does not wish to speak in opposition. Michael Curtin does not wish to speak, is in opposition. Charles Knight. Charles? Oh, I have you down for 493. Okay, Stephen, if you can correct that for me. You were the only one in support, so I was like, man, you might want to exit out that way. Yeah, I bet you were scared. Anyways, Robert McFeely, don't wish to speak. In opposition, Edward Nagel does not wish to speak. In opposition, James Drost. Opposition does not wish to... Oh, you come on down for this one? All right. Guys, you're keeping me on my toes tonight. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Thank you, sir. Name is Jim Drost, live at 14532 Yellow Bluff Road. As I was going through the comprehensive plan, there were just a few things that I wanted to point out, and these are within the emails that I have forwarded to all of you. In the plan, 1.110, ensure that mixed and multi-use projects enhance rather than detract from the character of the established development areas based on the following criteria. The proposed development is compatible with surrounding existing land uses and zoning. So if you take within that 150, or I'm sorry, within the 350-foot notification range of the surrounding existing land use, single-family detached homes of the planned development, this site plan isn't comparable to what the 350-foot radius, the notification radius is. So if you take a look at that in itself, this is not compatible with the plan. Thanks.
All right, next we have Thomas Smith. Does not wish to speak. In opposition, Jane Love. Does not wish to speak. In opposition, Nicole Repovich. Opposes, does not wish to speak. Jason Reif. Does not wish to speak. In opposition, Kathy Nagel. Does not wish to speak. In opposition. And then the following cards are also filled out and checked the box that they do not wish to speak but are in opposition. Laura Fulford, Joseph Lewis, Beverly Lewis, Gail Smith, Linda Mack, Catherine Del Rey, James Pippin, Karen Gasson, Ann Eckert, Margaret Drost, John Greco, Francis Eckert, Risa Grant, Donna Gleaton, Marie Kreider, Ruth Nelson Peoples, John Spurgeon, and Shirley Spurgeon. Again, all in opposition. And with that, we will continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 12, 2025, 494, open the public hearing. No speaker cards? 494, no speaker cards. That public hearing is continued until 10/7/25. Item number 13, 2025. Yeah, I figured there would be. 494. Okay.
What happens when you have a rookie?
Hey. Dr. Johnson's just overqualified for this job. All right, we found him. 494. It's all blurring together. All right. There we go, the rest of them. All right, how about this? We're going to reverse it this time, okay? Raise your hand if you do wish to speak. Got it. All right, the following speakers do not wish to speak are in opposition to Bill number 2025-494, Edward Nagel, Joanne D'Angelo, Marie Kreider, Donna Gleaton, Catherine Del Rey, Risa Grant, Francis Eckert, John Greco, M. Drost, Karen Gasson, Ann Eckert, James Pippin, Linda Mack, Gail Smith, Ben Tucker, Laura Fulford, Shirley Spurgeon, and John Spurgeon. That was 494. We have one other card here. A bunch more. Okay. This is 515. I don't know what that is. All right. Since no one raised their hand, I'm going to continue to read the names on the cards that do not wish to speak and are in opposition to the bill. Ruth Nelson Peoples, Nicole Repovich, Nora Sweat, Jim Sweat, Joanne Greco, Karen Curtin, Michael Curtin, Kathy Nagel, Robert McFeely, Jane Love, Thomas Smith, James Drost, Beverly Lewis, Joseph Lewis, Jason Reif. All right. 494, this public hearing is continued until 10/7/25. Item number 13, 2025, 495, open the public hearing. We have no speaker cards. Okay. Ms. Trimmer, you're safe on that one, I guess. This public hearing is continued until 10/7/25. Item number 14, 2025, 496, open the public hearing. No speaker cards. This public hearing will be continued until 10/7/25. Item number 15, 2025, 498. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to declare ex parte. I spoke to the applicant, Josh Cockrell, on 9/15 at 11:30 a.m. via phone call, and he explained to me about the what's going on with this piece of legislation, and it's being filed currently with Legislative Services. Thank you.
We're on 498. This is Mr. Hayden Phillips. Item number 15.
Okay, well, sorry, wrong one.
All right, no ex parte. Let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is PUD rezoning, ordinance 2025-0498, which is seeking to rezone approximately 23 acres from a PUD that was approved back in 1988 to a new PUD. The rezoning is being sought primarily to update the permitted uses to be consistent with the current zoning code uses. This would include like a daycare use. Original request was also to add a new access point onto Eunice Road, and then also to waive the distance limitations required under Part 8 of the zoning code. The applicant has submitted a new revised written description, so Exhibit 3 dated September 15th, and a new updated site plan, Exhibit 4 dated September 9th, which to remove the access point onto Eunice Road. With these changes, the access point and buffers along that roadway will remain as they are currently regulated by the existing PUD from 1988. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the 2045 comprehensive plan with the existing land use category of CGC. We find it furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan and meets the internal and external compatibility factors. With the changes to remove the access point to Eunice, the recommended conditions that are listed in your agenda are no longer required, as those were directly related to the access point onto Eunice Road. So with that gone, conditions are no longer needed. So because of these reasons and those listed in the staff report, we are forwarding a recommendation of approval with no conditions. Application was heard by Planning Commission on August 21st, where there were a couple of speakers in opposition. Those concerns were directly related to the proposed driveway connection to Eunice Road. The commissioners had no concerns for that proposed entrance, so they voted unanimously for approval with those three conditions listed in the staff report. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And with that, we'll go to the speaker card, Mr. Hayden Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hayden Phillips, 1301 River Place Boulevard. So yes, this is 23 acres in the southeastern quadrant of the intersection of Beach Boulevard and San Pablo Road. It's already CGC land use and in the urban development area, which we are not proposing to change. So this is simply a new PUD. 95% of this property is already built out with a working shopping center. It has a Publix, a gym, a dentist, a restaurant, and many more commercial uses that were developed beginning in the 90s. What enabled that was the existing PUD, which was approved in 1988, which is actually very user and development friendly. The purpose of this new PUD is, the current one's almost 40 years old, so we're updating the permitted uses to be consistent with the current zoning code, and we are slightly expanding and clarifying some of the uses, and we are proposing a new site plan which includes less property actually than the existing PUD. Existing PUD has a couple parcels that my client does not own. We are only rezoning our own property. And of course, as Ms. Abney referenced, we were originally proposing a new access point on the eastern boundary of the PUD on Eunice Road, but that is no longer. More on that in 1 second. But big picture, the footprint, the general intensity of the development, traffic, flooding, none of that will increase. CPAC had no concerns. We did coordinate with the district councilman from the very beginning and throughout the process. After Planning Commission, where we heard from a few neighbors that they were adamantly opposed to the access point on Eunice Road, we held a site meeting at that location with the district councilman and ultimately decided to remove that access point. So the PUD documents that you have in front of you no longer include the Eunice Road access. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions, and I'm not sure whether it's worth saying, but we are of course agreeable to removing the conditions. Thank you.
All right, we do have one speaker in the queue, and then we can go to Mr. Reingold. Maybe he can make sure we're in the proper posture. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Phillips, so I'm reading here that this is also to have on-premises like beer, wine, and liquor and all that. Is it currently not allowed for that? Because I mean, that's a pretty big shopping center. I'm surprised that there are no restaurants that have that.
Yeah, so on-premise sale of alcohol for on-premises consumption with a restaurant is already permitted. Sale of alcohol for off-premises consumption, already permitted. This is on-premise consumption without a restaurant. So a brewery, a bottle shop, that type of thing.
Okay, all right, cool. And yeah, I'm seeing here the site plan that Eunice Road was taken out completely. What was the reason for that? I know that this was heard a while ago, but what was the logic behind closing that out?
Are you asking why the community members were
Yes,
upset
why
about
they didn't want it. Yeah.
They didn't want to increase traffic on their road. Of course, we thought it would be good, consistent with the comp plan, connectivity, decrease congestion in other locations, but that is not how the adjacent neighborhood felt.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have no other speakers in the queue, so we will close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
Move the amendment.
Do we need to move the amendment are all these conditions? Walk us through that, Mr. Reingold. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I didn't hear a second on the amendment. I just want to make sure. Perfect. So the amendment is to adopt the revised site plan dated September 9th, 2025, and to adopt the revised written description September 15th, 2025, and the amendment does not include any conditions.
Okay, got it. All right, so all in favor of the amendment as just described, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended.
All right, motion and a second on the bill as amended. No discussion. Open the ballot, record your votes.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-498 as amended. Item number 16, 2025-499. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
All right, thank you, Chair. This one I am declaring ex parte. I spoke with the council with Mr. Cockrell at 9:15 at 11:30 a.m. via phone call regarding the legislation, and it's currently being filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
Councilmember Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too declare ex parte. I spoke with Mr. Cockrell as well yesterday on the phone, and he shared with me some of the issues that were going on and the conversations, and this has been recorded and filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise to declare ex parte. I spoke with Mr. Cockrell this morning at approximately 8:45 a.m., returning his call. And I also have about 16 emails that I received in opposition. Those are being filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
Councilmember Gaffney, you're recognized.
And thank you, through the chair. I also rise to declare ex parte. I had a community meeting last week with about 30 community members. I also had a meeting with Mr. Josh Carker yesterday on the Zoom call. Make sure everything get filed with legislative services.
All right, and I'd like to declare ex parte. I met with Mr. Cockrell in my office on September 15th at 9 o'clock. We discussed the project as a whole, the community meeting, and this paperwork is being filed with legislative services. So with that, we will open the, what? Oh, Councilmember White, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. I declare ex parte. I spoke with Mr. Cockrell today at 4 o'clock in my office, and everything has been filed along with the emails I've received. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and open the public hearing. You get a staff report.
Thank you. This is PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0499, which is seeking to rezone approximately 2.05 acres from CCG1 to a PUD to allow for a CDL trucking school, including outside storage of the truck cabs and trailers in connection with that school. The subject property is located north of Dunn Avenue with entrance to the property along Harts Road, which is just west of I-95. The property is currently developed with a 24,000 square foot warehouse structure, which was originally developed in the 80s, and also parking area for that structure. Surrounding uses in the general area include gas stations, restaurants, hotels. There's a fire station and other retail services, with residential uses further north along Harts Road. The proposed outside storage area is visually screened from view along Harts Road and Dunn Avenue, with existing surrounding commercial buildings that buffer it from the roadway. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comp plan with the existing land use category of CGC. We find it furthers the goals and objectives of the comp plan and meets the internal and external compatibility factors. Development standards will be the same as currently regulated under the CCG1 district and Part 12 landscaping requirements. The request is simply to allow for the overnight outside storage and parking of the truck cabs and trailers in connection with the CDL trucking school, which is allowed by right in the CCG1 zoning district. In order to ensure that the visual screening is maintained, the department is forwarding a recommendation of approval with one condition. That condition is related to providing a 6-foot fence for visual screening as listed in your agenda. The application was heard by Planning Commission on August 21st. There was one speaker in opposition that was citing concerns related to visual blight in relation to the existing residential developments to the north. The speaker requested additional screening through an increase in fence height. She recommended 12 feet. The commission was in agreement with the applicant in order to provide a taller fence, but they determined that an 8-foot fence would provide adequate screening for the trucks and trailers from Harts Road. So they voted unanimously for approval of the one condition, but just increasing the fence height from the 6 feet to 8 feet.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and go to our applicant first, Mr. Cockrell, and then we'll go to the rest of the speaker cards.
Good evening. Good evening, Josh Cockrell, 200 North Laura Street. Mr. Chairman, fellow council members, thank you so much for the opportunity to present before you.
Go ahead.
As stated by Ms. Abney, this is a CDL truck training school that is currently operating on the site that is allowed to operate by right at a former bowling alley on Harts Road that is a warehouse. I provided to you, and it's being passed around to you, a copy so you can see of the site plan, as well as a copy of an aerial view and the overlay of the zoning code itself. What you will see in the overlay is that we're surrounded by CCG1 all around us, with exception to the rear of the building itself, a 23 roughly 1,000 square foot building that's pre-existing where the bowling alley used to sit, is residential homes, 3 of them that are hidden back behind the building. On the site plan, what you'll see is a parking that is allocated in the southern section, the what do you call the southern side of the building. If you're looking at the site plan, that's where the parking is going to be allocated for the truck and the trailer. We have 26-foot trailers and single cab trucks, in which the training school itself conducts pre-trip inspections on site. So the drivers of these trucks will conduct their pre-trip, have the classroom time. They'll conduct pre-trip inspections of the vehicles, as well as conducting trailer and truck hookups, the connections of those vehicles. That is all being conducted on the site in coordination with this school. Currently, the zoning code, as Ms. Abney stated, does not allow for the overnight parking of the truck and trailer. So in order to minimize the impact on this community, we are requesting the ability to park these trucks overnight, because otherwise these trucks would have to come in every morning prior to class starting at 8 a.m. and leaving in the evening after 5 o'clock, thus creating additional congestion along Harts Road and Dunn Avenue at the light there. So they'll have to come and go every single day in order to operate, which again, in its current capacity, by right, trucks are allowed to come and go. So we are requesting the overnight parking of such. There's a need for this type of school to exist, and we're trying to reduce that impact. As stated, we did propose 6-foot screening around the property. We instead, and through the Planning Commission, agreed to an 8-foot screening. We did attend a community meeting that Councilmember Gaffney hosted last Thursday to hear the neighbor concerns. Tried to come up with some conditions during that community meeting, but we did not come up with any with the community at that time. There was a lot of comments from the community just not wanting the use at all. However, understanding that this is a school that's already operating and a use that is already in place. We did have a town Zoom meeting, as Councilmember Gaffney stated yesterday, with a few of the community leaders. They are requesting a 12-foot fence. I unfortunately am concerned about this, as my applicant is 12 foot. I don't know any commercial property, and I lean on staff's, if I may continue.
Yeah, you can continue. Usually we give the applicant 5 minutes, everyone, so put 2 minutes on the clock. Mr. Stephen, thank you.
Yes, I think, yeah. So, and I lean on staff on this. I am not familiar in my line of work seeing any fence 10 foot, much less 12. Never seen a 12 foot. That would be inappropriate for this site. Wind will blow this fence over and create problems. So we would be opposed to such, though the community is requesting such. And 10 foot, again, would not be in cohesiveness with the rest of the site itself at 8 feet. Currently, if you look at the site plan, the entrance of this, and you look at the aerial view of the site, the fencing is actually offset 220 feet off Harts Road. We have our own private roadway, driveway to get into the site. So you are 220 feet offset already, and it's set back further. The trucks are already not going to be in sight because they're tucked away, again, behind the former Sonny's Barbecue off to the southern portion of this site. But I am open to any comments, suggestions, otherwise, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cockrell. And now we will go to the rest of the speaker cards. We have Gail King.
Good evening. I'm Gail King. My address is on file. I sent all of you an email, so you have the details. So in the interest of time, I'll just touch on a few points. Just to give you additional information, I recently found out about this rezoning last week, and it was only because our management company sent out an email. So at that time, I started doing a deep dive into the documents. I found out how to search for the application and some of the other documents. And in doing that, there's a lot of information that I could not find. So I feel like there's a lot of missing information. More details need to be included in these documents before anything is approved. And that's my opinion, just looking at that. And I've spent a lot of time going through all of this. I love my neighborhood, and I don't see, based on what I read, how this can impact our neighborhood positively. And I've given you 5 questions, even though I was able to come up with a lot more questions after going through this. So I'm going to just quickly go through, because I know we don't have a lot of time. So what I've given you is my top 5. I searched because I was interested in finding out more about how the training is going to be conducted. And what's missing in those documents to me is actually the truck testing. Are they test driving these trucks within the neighborhood? It's a simple question, but it's not included in the documents. I searched, I had a problem because the companies were operating under a different name than what's in your legal documents. So that was a challenge for me to find the information. I wasn't able to find any classroom information, how things are done or anything. So basically, I would like to know if these trucks are going to be driving all through the neighborhood, up and down Harts Road, Dunn Avenue, if that's the case, these are going to be student drivers, then that's going to cause a lot of issues. My next question is with the number of trucks, and they only indicate that the trucks are going to be parked. Where are the trucks going during the day? So I feel like we need to step back and let a lot more neighbors know about this. And I recently found out that you all don't notify, you only notify people within 350 feet of the business. So for us, that would be like a gas station, that would be Dollar Tree, hotels, and the people that are a mile down the road, like me, we knew nothing about it. So I just recommend a deferral. If I had to make a choice, I would like to ask you to not approve this.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
And next we have Roberta Wally. Oh, you don't want to speak? Yeah, Roberta Wally, do you wish to speak? No. Okay, she's in opposition. All right. Stephanie Ashley? Oglesby, okay. Sorry about that. Come on up.
Good evening. I also sent you...
Name and address.
Oh, excuse me. My name is Stephanie Oglesby, and my address is on file.
Thank you.
And I also sent you a picture as well as some information about our community. Before I read my statement, it was stated that this business is tucked away, that you cannot see it from Harts Road. That is not correct. You ride up and down Harts Road, you see this business. You see the trucks. I only sent you a picture of one truck. And they want to have between 10 to 14 trucks stored there. My statement is as followed. I am here to present a component, substantial evidence, traffic and truck routing conflicts. City policy says truck routes should avoid residential areas whenever possible. This rezoning creates brand new trucks movement right at the edge of our community. With no restrictions on routing, no conditions to keep trucks off local streets, and no traffic plan at all. Excuse me. And no traffic plans at all, that means more congestions and safety hazards for families and children nearby. This is not a safe or compatible location for this type of activity. I also want to speak on the noise impact of a diesel and air quality concern. Anyone who has lived near heavy trucks know the sounds of diesel engine, running air brakes, backup alarms, trailer coupling and uncoupling. The city has noise standards, and this PUD does not commit to the following of them. This means that family will hear this This means that family will hear this all during the day and night if possible. This is not fair to the nearby residents and is not compatible to the residential community. Finally, the North CPAC also denied this application. Thank you. Oh, one last thing. I took another picture yesterday since it was stated, and I don't know if you can see this, but you can clearly see this is Harts Road here. I'm across the street at Dollar Tree. You can clearly see two trucks and a bus. So it is not hidden by any building. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Last speaker card is Pastor Bivens. Come on down, sir. Just make sure you state your name and address.
Hello, how's everybody doing today?
All right.
Well, my name is Pastor Mark Bivens, and I've been here all my life in Jacksonville, Florida. And I have an issue. Well, I live on North Side, 1051 Easy Street, if you don't have it on record. But I've been voting here for many years, been halfway around the world, and I own a trucking company previously. So my knowledge of trucking companies is pretty much in depth. And I believe this is the wrong place to put semi-trucks, whether they're 6-wheelers, 10-wheelers, 18-wheelers. This is the wrong place to put this facility. There is a whole lot of things. And if there is a training to be done, well, one thing is you got to test your horn. And that's the air horn. That's a lot of noise. I heard a previous person talk about the disconnect and connect. It's a boom bang. I'm very familiar with trucking because I used to own a trucking company, not drive a truck. I used to own a trucking company, 10 trucks. So I'm pretty much against this because it's the wrong place to have this. Now, if you look around, you will see where you would put. We've had some new truck stops being built here in Jacksonville, but they're not that close up to a residential area. So I can't figure out why the zoning will allow that kind of vehicle or that kind of operation so close to people's homes. Like I said, there's blowing of the horn, and that was a part of DOT that you have to do. You have to test your horn, okay? And you have to run your truck, test your air brake. Those are things that DOT require you, they call a pre-trip inspection. Very, very noisy. Now, the other issue is traffic. So now, can you imagine, if you know anything about that area, Harts Road, that's a very, 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 very highly traveled roadway. That's basically the main entrance, or about the only entrance that you're going to get back in those housing areas. There's some apartments back there. That's the main area where people get in and out. And then now you got the fire alarm up there, the new fire station up there. And it has to go transfer down Harts Road. So it's really, really not a good place to have this trucking. Like I said, I'm very familiar with trucking companies doing our own one. I'm very familiar with it. And I can't believe that the city council can let them be there, even though I believe it's CCG. Am my time up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Time is up. Thank you.
Well, you got the point. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Cockrell, you can have time for rebuttal if you wish.
Thank you, Council. As stated, this again is a parcel at CCG1, which by right this school is operating and is allowed to operate, surrounded by fellow commercial uses. The few residential homes that abut the rear of the property are buffered by the building itself. I understand the community's concerns regarding trucks. As stated, this PUD actually reduces the impact these trucks would have on this road. By having these trucks not having to come morning and night for the truck driving school, for the pre-trip inspections and the coupling, by having them here overnight instead, will reduce that impact for these trucks having to come in and off the road, which currently is an allowed use. So whether this is approved today or if it's not approved, the school is still going to operate. Trucks will be on site because, again, trucks are an allowed use on this site. We're here for the matter of having these trucks being able to hopefully reduce that impact and have them be able to park overnight. Also, by filing this PUD, we were able to reduce and limit some of the other allowed uses under CCG1, such as dancing entertainment. That was removed, and some of the less desirable uses were taken out as well under CCG1 through the PUD. So I stand by for any questions that you have, and thank you so much.
All righty. With that, we will go ahead and go through the queue. Council members, do you want to go ahead and ask these questions during the public hearing, or do you want to go ahead and close that? If you're ready to make a...
I want to ask him a question.
Okay, yeah. We'll go through that and keep the public hearing open. So, Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
All right, thank you, Chair. Mr. Cockrell, if you don't mind coming up, I do have a couple questions.
Yes,
obviously,
sir.
we've heard the public comment section, and there have been many questions of which you've already answered, but I just want to clarify for my knowledge and for my comfort. This business has been already here. It's already established at the end of the day, so there's nothing new that's happening except for parking the trucks overnight there. One of the questions asked was, how is this going to affect the traffic? Are people going to go to this business and train on the Harts Road, for example, or are they going to be training on the actual facility itself? Can you answer that question?
That's a great question. So I actually have my applicant here today with me, the owners of the site. So none of the truck driving training is done off-site, I mean on site itself. Only the coupling, the pre-trip inspection. The trucks stay on site. Any driving of trucks is actually done with trucks on a different site. And I believe you said Stark during the community meeting that we had. So there's no trucks going up and down Harts Road or anything of such.
The only way they'll be going up and down Harts Road is if they're commuting to the site, but not to train on Harts Road, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir,
They're
that's
training
correct.
on, you said Stark?
They're in Stark.
Okay, all right, cool. That's one. The second thing is, given any regular day, your hours of operations are from what time to what time?
So the
currently?
hours of operation for the students right now is 8:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8:30 to 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay, so safe to say those hours will not change. All it is just having parking overnight, so there's not going to be extended hours to have training past 5:30 or 5 o'clock, whatever it was you said, right?
That's correct.
It's all
yeah.
staying the same.
Standard classroom timing. Yes, sir.
And to the business owner, is that confirmed? Okay, cool. The third thing is, obviously we heard about the parking and all that. My only objection to this would be, being that you're going to have overnight parking, are you guys, how's the light pollution going to be at night? Are you going to have to add big lights that now bleed over to the neighborhood, or is it going to stay the same?
Stay the same.
Okay, cool.
So it's all staying the same. And even, and if I may, council members, during the community meeting, my applicant did state, and something that I learned too, that they actually have security 24/7 to monitor the site as well.
Okay.
Because
perfect.
crime has been high in the area. As chairman of the Nuisance Abatement Board, we have been mitigating a lot of this crime, both with the motels that are both adjacent to the property and across the street, which one of them are currently under our purview as we speak.
Okay, and then I'm just going to close with this very quick. Two more things very quick. But how old is this business? The training center. How long has it been here? 2 years. All right.
We owned the property for 1 year, but 2 years.
Okay, so have we had any issues in the last year with your drivers and your training facility and with the neighbors at all?
No.
Right. So I'm asking all these questions because ultimately, when I'm hearing the words a wrong fit or not a good neighbor for the neighborhood, they've already been established here for over a year. And they've clearly been good neighbors as it is. There haven't been any issues. At least I don't see any code compliance issues that have popped up on my end. I heard somebody say, and that's why it's important to understand the narrative. Somebody said earlier, this is the wrong place to put semi-trucks. However, we're not putting semi-trucks here. They're already there. It's just a matter of just having them overnight, which in my understanding actually will alleviate the I guess the road, issues with, traffic and all that kind of stuff. So I'm willing to listen to more of my colleagues. The queue's lighting up right now. But as it is right now, I like how this is working out. But like I said, I want to hear the conversation as it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think my question, and I thank you for the in-depth response that you gave. I wanted to ask one of the community members that spoke, and please forgive me for not knowing your name. Ms. Gale, could you come up for a moment? And it kind of, the questions that you had were the same questions that Councilman Arias had as well. But my question for you is, you said you live about a mile down the road in the area?
Yes.
Through the chair. Have you had any issues since this business has been operating for, because my question was how long have they been there? Since they've been there for 2 years, they've been running it. My investigation shows that they are just doing coupling exercises there, and the only reason that they would come out of the yard is to refuel. So they would not be driving. Have you had in the past 2 years any instances other than hearing of this rezoning of seeing any issues with them?
Not personally, I haven't.
Hey guys,
1 year.
And thank you for that correction. I appreciate it.
So he clarified one of my questions because I can identify gaps in information. So what I didn't see is how they test drive and where they were going to test drive. So you answered my question. It's going to be all contained within that property. Whatever training you do, it's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't hear you when you're talking to them.
So one of my questions was answered because one of the main questions I had was how are they going to test drive these trucks and where are they going to go?
Right.
My concern was if they were going to be going up and down Harts Road, where all the residential areas are and the subdivisions. That was one of my main concerns. So he answered that. He said, no, they're going to do all of the training, and that's what.
Yes, ma'am. It's at another facility.
Yes, within the boundaries of the land.
Yes, ma'am.
But no, I haven't had any personal interaction or anything with this company at all.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Mr. Cockrell, have you or your client had any of, obviously, a year, whether it's a year or 2 years, since they've been there, have you all had any complaints or anything that has come from the community before this zoning change?
None that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay, that's what I needed. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Freeman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Cockrell, I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. You said that it currently, by right, they're running a school, and regardless of the decision of this body, that business is still going to continue. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So some of the concerns that I'm hearing tonight, based off of the rezoning and switching to a PUD, would not be addressed because you're already allowed to do what you're doing if this body, no matter what we do. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I understood that correctly. So thank you so much for clarifying that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, sir. We are in public hearing for questions only right now. So if you're called up, then yes. But as of right now, it's, I think, I'm going to go to Councilmember Gaffney and his.
Go ahead. You can let him go.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Gaffney, you're recognized. He was going to.
I'll do it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cockrell. And to the pastor, if you don't mind, please coming back up.
Well, my issue is
I will your name, and I do have a statement. Your name, sir, please, and address.
Pastor Mark Bivens.
Okay, and I have I'm an active listener, and so you definitely got my attention when you made the brake sound. I think that kind of put you into that level of expert because I had never heard the sound of brakes of the truck before. So thank you so much for that. But can you share with me from your experience your response to knowing that they've already been in existence, and with your expertise in this area, why is it now raising to a level of concern that you are now here and speaking against it, now hearing the facts that they've been here for a year? Can you help me better understand why now it's more of a concern of yours than it was before?
I'm Bluegrass Northwood. I'm the chairman, okay? We've been hearing the noise going on. We've been having some problems. We couldn't figure out where it was. So that was the issue why we have a concern, because the neighbor's been talking to me. And I've been discussing with them. I'm kind of disheartened because, I hear, and what I know about training, if you're going to do a training for trucks.
Yeah, Pastor Bevins, you answered the question, sir. We can't continue to have additional public, so I appreciate it. But
okay,
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Gaffney Jr., you're recognized.
All right, thank you to the chair. Ms. Gale, if you could come up, I want to make sure all your questions get answered. So I know you was, Ms. Gale, through the chair. If you could elaborate on your questions earlier, I want to make sure all your questions get addressed.
So my concern was a couple.
Stephen, go ahead and, sorry, ma'am. Sorry, go ahead and start the clock, if you will, because we got to, this can go on and on and on. So it's not you, it starts time.
Can I mention the road damage from the trucks? So that was my only other one, I think, that wasn't addressed here other than, so if it's parking, that's fine. But someone mentioned that they would not be responsible for any road damage in the last meeting. So that's why I had that in there, because there's going to be damage from trucks going in and out.
Yep. So that's it. That's it. Okay. Okay.
That's all I have.
All right.
So thank
you.
So this one, colleagues.
We're still in the public hearing, so if you're going to get ready to make your decision, we can go ahead and close it.
Yeah, we could.
Let's go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee and make a motion. For discussion?
We have an amendment on here.
Okay. Okay, so guys, where we're at right now is we just closed the public hearing, so we can still discuss it, but it's discussion among all of us right now, so that gives us leeway to say, I'm going to support it, I'm not going to support it, because we've already heard all of the testimony, we've already heard all of the export witnesses and everything like that, so that allows us now more leeway there. So with that, we're going to go through some procedural things to get to the right posture. The first procedural move that we need to make is we need to take up the amendment with the condition. So we have two amendments down here, the Planning Commission and the Planning Department. We're not going to take up the Planning Department condition. We're going to take up the Planning Commission condition. So I need a motion on the Planning Commission. All right, motion and a second on the Planning Commission condition, which is to require the 8-foot tall fence. Is there any discussion on the Planning Commission condition amendment? Yes? Okay. Anyone else in the queue on that? No? Okay. Councilmember Gaffney, go ahead.
So thank you through the chair. So as I stated at the community meeting last week, a lot of constituents, we had over 30 constituents, and I want to say 90% or maybe at least 85% was opposed and objected this land use rezoning. One of the concerns they had was the fencing. One of the things the community proposed was a 12-inch fence. I know Mr. Carker brought it up. I know Aaron, I spoke with Aaron, and she said it was okay. One of the things that kind of, I guess, since we're on the fencing, one of the things why I'm really opposed to this is the residential houses behind it. As you can see, it's 3 homes behind it. And I don't know how you have a commercial use and you have residential homes. To me, that's incompatible land use. You know, so I think in the back, it definitely need to be, and right now, I think we at 10 feet. Are we at 10 feet? No.
8.
So I would like to propose an amendment for this whole entire landscape to go to 10 feet. So you can see where the home's at. It's I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's some trees in the back, but you still can see the homes from the bowling alley. So right now the fences that behind the bowling alley is just like 6 feet. But I would like to propose an amendment to bring the fences up to 10 feet.
All right, do we have a second? All right, so we have a motion and a second for discussion to amend the amendment from 8 foot to 10 foot. And I guess before we do that, we have to hear from the applicant if that's agreeable or not agreeable.
Josh Cockrell, Turner, North Laura Street. 10 foot, there's 3 homes, if I may. We already agreed to 8 feet. There's 3 homes behind the building. The building is a large structure. One of the homes that is behind the building, the closest to the parking itself, is a corporate-owned rental property. We have even heard from the 2 other property owners that are behind the building that are not even impacted by the existing structure. As stated today, whether the trucks are parked there to overnight or not, which our code does not define what overnight hours are, trucks can come in and out of this property and park there all day long and leave at some point in time during the night and come back in the next morning, whatever those morning hours are, which are still not defined by code. It just says no overnight parking. Those owners of those homes that are behind that building hadn't even come out and spoken to us at all. Nonetheless, do they want a 10-foot fence wall, if you will, behind their house? They're not bothered. So this is a cost factor. I think it's overreach. I would not support a 10-foot fence around this entire property. Councilmember Gaffney, in all due respect, 8 foot is works. It's greater than what we proposed originally at 6 feet, and we're happy to do so.
All right, so, okay, Councilmember Arias on the amended amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Cockrell, you stated one thing that they just kind of just resonated with me is, the fact right now there is currently no fencing, correct?
There is a fencing with a city-maintained culvert in between the...
How tall is that fencing?
6 feet. What is it right now? 6 feet?
6 feet.
6 feet
All
existing.
Right. So as it is, the hours you told me earlier were from 8:30 to 5 p.m.
Yes, sir.
During that time frame, there are trucks on site, correct?
Yes, sir.
And none of those neighbors have complained with a 6-foot fence.
That's correct, sir.
There's nothing going to be different this time around except overnight parking.
Yes, sir.
You're going to extend the fence to 8 foot.
Yes, sir.
So at the end of the day, have the neighbors complained in the last year about the 6-foot fence?
No, they have not.
So with an 8-foot fence, if anything, it's going to be in the benefit of the neighbor. If they haven't complained about it in the past year, then I don't see this being a non-issue is what it is. So I definitely think that the 8-foot fence is more than enough, just because, like I said, they've already been there for over a year. There haven't been complaints on the 6-foot fence. They're already upgrading it to an 8-foot fence, and all they're doing is just parking trucks overnight. There's nothing different happening except just parking trucks overnight. The whole use of it, like I said, I've heard the public comment, but it's a non-issue because there's nothing different happening right now except for parking overnight. They're currently, if they wanted to right now, between the hours of 8:30 and 5 p.m., they could park there. They could do that right now. So there's nothing different happening right now, which is why I think I'm going to support the Planning Commission amendment to just keeping it at 8 foot, which is an upgrade from what it currently is. All right, thank you.
All right. Mr. Johnson, are you in the queue for the amendment? Okay, Councilmember Freeman on the amended amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to the Planning Department. I don't like the world of subjectivity, so I'm just going to put it out there. We're going from 8, and now he's asking 10. Can you please share with us how you landed on the number of 8 foot for the fence to the Planning Commission? Well, can someone please share with me how they landed on that number? And
So to the chair, to Councilman Freeman. So when you have incompatible land uses, so commercial against residential, the requirement for an uncomp buffer includes visual screening, and the code of Part 12 requires a 6-foot fence, 95% opaque. So staff wanted to ensure that this visual screening was going to be maintained, so we suggested a condition that says that fencing has to be 6 feet tall, 95% opaque. Currently, the property has a wrought iron fence, so you can see through it as right now. If it gets approved, they'll have to make it 95% opaque, so you won't be able to see through it. At the Planning Commission, there were a speaker in opposition who wanted a 12-foot fence to compromise between the opposition and the applicant. They agreed upon 8 feet to increase it from the 6 feet that staff was recommending to 8 feet. So that's how we got to the 8 feet.
All right, thank you so much. So this in front of me essentially is a compromise, because my next line of questioning is, and we have a tropical storm that is brewing right now and another one right behind it. Is there a certain level or height of fencing that creates a greater challenge for the community and the business, and so therefore, if there is, what is that number?
To the chair, to the council member. I don't have an exact height, but I know in the zoning code, in regards to fence height regulations, commercial properties don't have a set maximum height. You can go to whatever height. I'm sure there's some, concerns about getting up to a certain height. In residential districts, it does allow for fencing to go up to 8 feet in height. So we do have a precedent in the zoning code that does say 8 feet is a height that is allowed.
Okay, thank you. And this abuts a residential community, so that is consistent then with what?
True. So on the residential side, those properties today could build an 8-foot fence with no issue.
All righty, thank you.
All right, Councilman Gaffney, do you want to speak on your amendment?
Go
ahead.
Yeah, through the chair. So I want to make something clear. We keep saying the residents haven't spoken. The residents was at the meeting, and just because they didn't identify themselves doesn't mean they have spoken. They spoke. You just didn't know who they were. So the residents who stay behind this trucking school came to the meeting and said they want a 10-foot fence. I just didn't get this out the thin air. So they have expressed to me that they want a 10-foot fence. Another thing they have shared with me, since we at the point, was the noise and the diesel smell. So that's another concern that I have, that I'm not sure what we could talk about that, Aaron, but in the planning department, that the diesel fumes, the backup alarms. When these trucks, one of the young ladies, I think she's 76, so she was saying when the trucks back up, the beep, 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 beep. She was concerned about that. So the diesel fumes, the noise, and then this whole fence, she was concerned about that. She said a 10-foot fence, she would like to see it. So she haven't said nothing prior to this meeting. She didn't know how to reach out to me, but we had the meeting. All I want to say at least 2 of the neighbors came out of the 3, and they did voice their concerns about the fence. So they asked me for a 10-inch fence, and so yeah, 10 foot.
All right. Well, I'll just kind of weigh in on just my quick opinion on going from 8 feet to 10 foot. And what I heard earlier was there was only one speaker at the Planning Commission where they went from 6 to 8. Okay, so the community meeting. Look, I mean, I have an 8-foot fence in my backyard. It's quite taller than you think. I know it doesn't sound like that, but in 10 foot, I don't even know if they make like that scale of a fence. I mean, you could probably do the chain link with the things in the slats in between, but man, that is a tall fence. I mean, that's like a wall. So for me, I would feel more comfortable if the property owners were here because, man, you're putting up a ugly fence in someone's backyard. I don't know that they're going to like that any more than what they currently have, personally. Because, again, it all sounds nice on paper, and then it gets up in your backyard, and you're like, whoa, that's a little too much for me. So, and generally when we make these conditions on the PUD, and you know this, Councilman Gaffney, you've been on this committee just from the beginning like I have, and it's usually, look, there's 20 people here, and they're digging their heels in on 10-foot fence, and it's like, okay, man, if that's what y'all want, then we'll make that the condition. But I just don't see that here today. I think 8 foot is plenty to add the screening that's necessary. So I'm going to be a no on the amendment, and I'll be a yes on the no on the amended amendment, the yes on the 8-foot amendment. So with that, Councilmember Arias, you're still on the bill, right, Mr. Johnson? Okay. Did you want to address something?
One last thing,
and I'll
through
go
the
to
chair.
Councilmember
And the
Arias.
reason for the 10 feet fence is that they didn't want to see the trucks at all. So the trucks are still higher than the fence. So the fence is there, but the trucks still stick up. So to the residents who stayed the 3 homes, they didn't want to see the truck at all. So that was their biggest concern, and that's where this 12 feet and this 10 feet fence came from, because the trucks are still sticking up. So in their backyard, they looking at trucks. But that's where this whole 10 feet, 12 feet fence came from.
Okay, understood. Councilmember Arias, recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to bring up a couple points and just bring it home already. So I'm very practical when it comes to just the way I make my decisions, and I don't want to be insensitive to the community or to even the applicant at some points, but I'll be very honest with you all. The conversations I just heard right now and that I've been hearing are, they're not relevant. You know, I'm hearing conversations of the diesel fuel and the backing up beeping. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. They literally want to just park there overnight. They're already operating there. The diesel fuel is still going to be there. The beeping is still going to be there. So that's all not relevant. And like I said, I don't want to be insensitive, but I'm very practical when it comes to this. And I feel that we are blowing this out of proportion for what it really is. It's just parking overnight. Even a 10-foot fence, guess what? You're still going to see the semi-trucks. So even that won't even appease the neighbors. Like Mr. Carlucci said, a 10-foot fence will be hideous, in my opinion. A nice 8-foot fence will work just the same as a 10-foot fence. Because if you really want to cover those trucks, you probably need like a 14-foot fence. That's just being real. So I am going to, once again, go with my vote of the Planning Commission conditions of 8-foot fence, and I think we should just bring it back home. I feel for the neighbors. Mr. Gaffney, I understand where you're coming from. But had this been a legislation on putting them there at this point and they're not operating, then okay, let's have that conversation. Is it a right fit? But at the end of the day, they're already there. The fit is already there. There's nothing we can do about it right now at this point. So that's where I'm at. Thank you.
All right. So with that, we have no other speakers in the queue. All in favor of the Gaffney amendment to go from 8 foot to 10 foot, signify. No, there's no one in the queue. Do you have a question on the amendment? Okay, yeah, we're going to get to the bill. All right, all in favor of the Gaffney amendment going from 8 foot to 10 foot, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. It fails. Yes. All right, so now we're looking for did we already get the motion on the 8 foot?
So to the chair, we are now, since that failed, we are now back on the original a move, amendment, and second, so that now we would want, that's just a clean motion that we already have on the floor.
Understood. Councilman Johnson, are you on the 8-foot or are you on the bill? Okay, you're on the bill. Just wanted to make sure, my man. All right, all in favor of the Planning Commission condition amendment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Amendment carries. Yep. All right, we need a motion on the bill as amended.
Move the bill as amended with the Planning Commission conditions.
All right, motion and second on the bill as amended with the Planning Commission condition. Councilmember Johnson, you are recognized.
Thank you. I just had a quick question, Mr. Chair, and I'm not sure if it can be answered, but I'll ask the planning department. I heard someone say earlier that it would tear up the streets, and I just want to understand, and it may be the applicant or you ladies, but wouldn't it be less trips on the street if it's already there and the trucks are coming every day because you can't park overnight? I'm just thinking logically. They're literally driving from the spot to wherever they house the trucks and back every day. If they're allowed to stay there on site, the only time they would move the truck is if they need more fuel. So wouldn't that be less trips and thus less impact on the road?
Through the chair to Councilman Johnson, yes. We also reviewed with the Transportation Division. So this portion of Harts Road does allow for truck to come onto it. So it was developed to handle the weight of heavy trucks. But the weight of these trucks is going to be less than like a normal U-hauler that is hauling materials, because this is for a school. So theoretically, it's going to be much lighter than a truck that is hauling materials to like a business. So we don't believe that the trucks that are going to be used for this would damage the roads in any capacity like a normal U-Haul truck hauling heavy material would.
And less trips, as well as nothing in the back. They don't plan to have, based on the application that you saw, nothing.
Correct. These
cargo.
are just strictly for training.
Thank you.
All right, Councilman Gaffney, you're recognized. Yes, sir. Last speaker. Oh, I guess it's not popping up for you. Go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Gay. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just from a visiting perspective, a couple of things. The school, when they do the training, the trucks are empty, so there's no extra load on them. It's just a basic truck and trailer. A question I have through the chair to Mr. Reigard. Being this is a PUD, normally these large trucks are required to be on IL property and not CGC. And so is there a way to define an area, say if you look at the GIS map, the eastern part of the parking lot would prevent the 12-foot, 8-foot, 10-foot fence dilemma to where the trucks could be parked into that area and be away from any residential for the night parking. And for the daily activity, they're back to being able to fully use the site, to where that could be a potential compromise to have the night parking on the eastern part of the building and not affecting the residents. So just something to look at, to consider while we're at this stage, to where, say, not the full property getting the PUD on it, but if it's able to define that area for nighttime truck parking.
I have a question. Yes.
Hold on. Is there a question to
Yes,
Mr. Reingold? Yes, 20 seconds.
Sorry, I thought it was through the chair to the council member. I thought it was just sort of a statement, an idea for the LUZ committee. But certainly, if the LUZ committee wanted to consider and the applicant was agreeable to, I could see a condition that said the truck parking is only limited to this part of the property or something. It's certainly something that you could discuss with the applicant, and certainly would be interested in the planning department's viewpoint on that type of condition.
I just wanted to bring that to the committee's awareness, to where that could be, there's enough area to park there, then that kind of solves the problems for everybody. So thank you, sir.
All right. And Councilman Gaffney Jr., you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. On that note, and I guess, Mr. Rango, if you could put me in the right posture, I already know what it's going at. It looked like I don't have the support. So I hate to propose to prolong this meeting, but I do have a few conditions if I can offer. So, Mr. Cocker, if you could come up, it'll be brief. The first condition, would you be open to taking up Councilman Gay's proposal of the trucks parking not against the houses?
The trucks cannot park against, through the chair
So-
to Councilmember Gaffney, the trucks cannot park against the houses anyhow.
So they should not be behind the Sunnies, correct? They'll be on the side, correct? I just want to make sure we
There,
got this
if you
clear.
look at through the chair
I
to
have it.
Councilmember Gaffney, check the site plan. The site plan illustrates where, it should be the first page I gave you. There's a site plan. The site plan shows where the truck parking is.
I just want to make sure I'm clear.
But again, the trucks
Here,
can operate.
where are the trucks parking, Mr. Cocker? Are they parking in front of the building, or are they parking on the side of the
It's
building?
parking on the side here, in this lower part where the parking stalls are located.
Okay, right.
Where?
So the condition is have them not park there, have them park in front of the building, because the neighbors won't see it if they're in front of the building. That's what Councilmember Gaffney is
The
asking.
neighbors won't see it on the side, and we'd have to deny that condition. We operate the coupling and everything in front of the building due to the increased size of the space in that area, so we'd have to deny that condition.
Okay.
Okay. The second condition, the lighting is very poor. It's not visible. Would you guys be open to increasing the lighting?
You need to define what that means, Mr. Gaffney.
Well, right now, so when I rode past it last night, it's just very poor. I mean, the lights are dim. I'm not sure what it means to increase the lighting, but the lights are it's dim.
That's something I can discuss with my applicant, but I don't think this is appropriate for a PUD to increase lighting for something we're talking about parking trucks overnight, and we have fencing, it's gated, locked, and it has security on the site, but I will discuss that with them. I don't think it's appropriate to make that a PUD in our current use.
Speaking of security, if this is armed trained security or just a worker staying there? So through the chair, so the question is security. Is this armed trained security registered or is it just a regular person?
A regular person.
It's just a regular person. So it's not security, it's just like a truck driver just staying over. It's just a truck driver just staying overnight.
Yeah, Josh has to, Mr. Cockrell, you have to relay that information.
Yes,
to
through the chair, there's a driver that stays there all night to keep watch on the property. But again, that's due to the area being relatively unsafe. As you know, as I stated, having chaired nuisance abatement and continue to do so, we continue to resolve the issues in that area with the motels. But again, any questions regarding security in my mind doesn't have anything to do with this PUD. And what we're requesting is this fence to be accepted as an 8-foot.
So it's all part of the concession. So my last two questions is, the number of tractor trailers, can we limit the number of tractor trailers? 12?
No, you cannot.
Okay, so what about when we talked on the Zoom call yesterday, you said you will be open to putting a 10-foot fence up front.
The issue is, through the chair, through Councilmember Gaffney, is with that, we're 220 feet offset, and it's not going to go in coherence with the rest of the property if you do 10 foot in the front as well. Again, it's a challenge already trying to get materials and then trying to get something to match with the aesthetics of the property itself, for the property owner also to be to appreciate the value of its property as well and support the value. A 10-foot fence up front is not going to make a difference, as stated by your fellow colleagues. You're going to still see trucks whether they come in day or night. 220 feet, trucks can park there during the daytime. You're going to see trucks during the daytime. At nighttime, 220 feet off-site from Harts Road, you're not going to see trucks with an 8-foot fence. So I don't think a 10-foot's going to make a difference one or the other, so I'm going to respectfully decline.
Okay, my last question, you just brought something to my attention.
All right, you get one minute, Mr. Gaffney. Yeah.
The business hours, 8:30 to 5. So what time trucks will be arriving and going? Because you said they'll be coming at night.
If they're staying overnight, they're going to be on property. But if they're not, this is not approved, they will be coming and going as they please, which they're allowed to do by
So
right.
trucks could be they can leave at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock
At
in
any
the
time
morning.
they want to, as by right. Yes, sir.
Can we limit the time the trucks leave, I guess, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.?
I will respectfully decline, sir. Thank you.
That's fine. Okay.
Right.
All right, thank you.
All right. We are ready to vote. All right, Councilmember Arias, recognized.
All right, thank you guys. Through the chair, I just want to first of all commend Councilmember Gaffney. He's literally not giving up this fight. So I think your neighbors and your community sees that. Your efforts have been obviously it resonates with me, and I wish I could support you on this. I think this is a fit that already is there, and there's not going to be any differences except just parking overnight. But I definitely want to just say, seriously, you represented your district today, so thank you so much for that. Thank you.
All right. Open the ballot, record your votes.
Five yeas, 1 nay.
By your action, you've approved 2025-499 as amended. Item number 17, 2025-515. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. I rise to declare ex parte. I sent it in. It was not put there, but there was a meeting I had in the green room on September 3rd for about 40 minutes. All of those details have been put in. This was sent to Legislative Services. There was about, and I do not have the names of all of them on this sheet, but there were about 18 people, at that meeting. And we distributed also competent substantial evidence documents. I also traded emails with Mr. Parker, the applicant, earlier today, and those communications, as well as those of the community, are all filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
All right. No one else in the queue. Let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is Conventional Rezoning Ordinance 2025-0515, which is seeking to rezone approximately 4.99 acres of land from RR Acre to RLD 60. The applicant recently went through a rezoning to a PUD. That was Ordinance 2024-0980. They were seeking to allow for a mobile home park, the development of lots that would be 50 feet in width, which was ultimately denied by City Council in March of this year. The applicant is back to seek a conventional rezoning to RLD 60 in order to match the zoning designation of the neighborhood to the north. The request to rezone the property is to allow the property owner to build single-family dwellings, which would require each lot to be a minimum 60 feet in width and 6,000 square feet, and at least 48 feet of road frontage along an approved public or private right-of-way. This proposed conventional rezoning would be extending the existing RLD 60 zoning district that was found to the north and permit development that is consistent with that zoning district. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan with the existing land use category of low density residential, which allows for a maximum density of 7 units per acre when the property is connected to both city water and city sewer. In order to maximize the development potential of this site, the property owner would be required to develop either a private or public right-of-way meeting the city standards, so that would further for each future lot meets the road frontage requirement of the code. We find that the requested rezoning to RLD 60 will be compatible with the surrounding area, and we forward a recommendation of approval. This application was heard by Planning Commission on August 21st, where there were several speakers in opposition, noting that while the neighborhood to the north of the subject property is zoned RLD 60, the existing lots in that neighborhood are much larger than the minimum standards of that zoning district. They expressed concerns that approval of the rezoning request to RLD 60 would allow the creation of lots inconsistent with the established character of the neighborhood. The commissioners ultimately had minimal concerns about the rezoning to RLD 60. They did ask about the closest roadway capacity, which staff provided that it was operating at 37% capacity, and the commission voted unanimously for approval.
All right. Thank you so much for that. We'll first start with 5 minutes for the applicant, Mr. Jacob Parker, and then we'll go through the speaker cards, and then we'll give Mr. Parker time for rebuttal. So with that, the floor is yours.
All right. Good afternoon. Jacob Parker, 6211 Pernicia Street. I've met with the neighbors a multitude of times, and recently, the last week and a half ago. I'd like to address, at least right now, the remaining two big concerns. One is traffic still, and that goes along with the density. I've talked with Dr. Johnson about kind of the request from the neighbors was to increase or decrease the density. If I could go to maybe RLD 70, 80, 90, if maybe reduce some of the houses on there. And I have gone back and looked at that, and it's not economical to develop a almost 600-foot paved road like Aaron said. You know, it had to meet city standards, 20-foot wide and everything like that. It just doesn't make sense economically. The other one is the aesthetics. A lot of people are concerned with maybe just what it's overall going to look like. And I'd just like to say, by definition of the RLD 60 through Part 4, Subpart C, the architectural and aesthetic regulation for single-family dwellings, it requires that any single-family built match the existing aesthetics within the surrounding neighborhood. So that Subpart 4 requires that the aesthetics match the existing neighborhoods. I think that's like a big concern. Ultimately, I handed out site plans last 2 weeks ago, and I've emailed them to you guys showing exactly what my plan is and what I'd like to do. It's approximately 12 homes, paved road, lighting, sidewalks. There'd be a detention pond. The third concern that still comes up sometimes is the drainage. I'd like to reiterate, my property does not drain on anybody else's property. It drains directly into Fishing Creek. And so there's no concerns there. I have done a wetland study. There's no impact to wetlands. I think just with the traffic, some of the concern was a lot of our neighbors, we walk on the roads, myself included. My family uses the roads to walk around almost every single day. And right now, the route out of my property only affects about 14% of the neighborhood roads. A very, very small percentage. Overall, I think that's pretty much it. I'll leave it there and ask questions at the end. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Shelley Ray. And if the following speakers will kind of come down and line up at the front, just so we can make sure we get all of our time efficiently. We have Shelley Ray first, and then Fran Hetherington, Carolyn Chance Sangthong, Elizabeth Reyes. Go ahead and put that right there, ma'am. And so if those speakers can come down or just be ready to speak, that would be great. Go ahead, Ms. Ray. Name and address.
My name is Shelley Ray. My address is on file. I am a resident of this community, and I oppose this rezoning. We are here today to protect a legacy, not just a collection of houses, but a stable, multi-generational neighborhood that has been carefully built and maintained since the late 1950s. We are not a community in flux. We are a community with deep roots. Our neighborhood was first developed in 1957, and today we still have residents who are original owners. We have second and third generation families living in the homes where they grew up. This isn't a coincidence. It's a testament to the stability of this neighborhood. Our pride of ownership is clear. In the last 3 years, only 5 out of 111 properties have sold. This low turnover rate is a powerful metric that shows our neighbors are invested in the long-term well-being of this community. By contrast, the developer has documented history of problematic behavior. We have already provided evidence of their disregard for regulations, their lack of communication, and their attempts to sidestep proper procedure. Approving this project would be an enormous risk. It would entrust the future of our stable, nearly 70-year-old community to a developer with a proven pattern of disregarding the rules. We urge you to consider the integrity and legacy of this neighborhood and deny this rezoning. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And before we go to our next speaker, I was just reminded by our Deputy General Counsel, Mr. Reingold, he would like to remind everyone of proper decorum and what we need to be speaking about when we're at the podium. Go ahead, Mr. Reingold.
Thank you very much to the chair and to the audience. I know you're very passionate about this item, and a lot of you have spoken at this meeting and other meetings about the prior violations on the property or alleged violations, stacking up of trees and those types of things. Please be aware this is a conventional rezoning to an RLD 60 district. So those types of that type of information is just not relevant to whether the property should be zoned RLD 60. I would recommend you keep your comments consistent to how this property is relates to or is consistent with and compatible with the adjacent properties. To the chair, if I need to address any other issues, I'd be happy to.
No, sir. Thank you so much for that. Next, we'll go to Fran Hetherington.
Good evening. My name is Fran Hetherington. My address is on file. You have all received yet another booklet which we'd like you to look at. If you'll look at page 3, of course, I'm here to oppose this. If you look at page 3, you will see that the area falls in an archaeological high sensitivity zone. This was revealed by looking at the city maps in the land development section. This means the city's own models would predict that there could be important historical findings on the land. We have contacted the Historic Preservation section of Jacksonville. We are waiting for clarification on their answers. They sent us something today we have not been able to clarify yet. Before any permits can be issued, we are wondering, will the developer be required to do a full archaeological survey? The developer has not shared any plans for this, which makes us question if he is truly ready to start this project. Another concern that we have, if you will look at pages 5, 6, and 9 of your booklet, is the neighborhood character. Our RLD 60 zone has a historical development pattern of much more larger lots. You'll see the average lot frontage is 102 feet. The average lot size is 14,500 square feet. The proposal he has would be the first to build on lots that are only 60 feet wide. This would fundamentally change our neighborhood. We are concerned about the developer's pattern of behavior, which is indicated on pages 10, 12, 16, and 17. I won't go over what you said us not to talk about, but we also have noted in your book that he has had sightings for illegal things that he has done, such as having RVs on that he had to move. When we look at these things, we find out that we would rather have a PUD applied for as he asked before, because with that we would have more transparency in his zoning request. It makes it really hard right now for us to trust that he'll build a development that respects our community. So we'd like to see him go back to the PUD. When we were in the green room, it was a very difficult meeting, but we have come to the conclusion that if he had a PUD, that might be better for everybody. It would be something that would be acceptable all the way around. We haven't heard back from him, but we'd like to make sure that we had every opportunity to see if we can do that. Otherwise, I would ask you to deny this request. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Carolyn Chance Sangthong.
Thank you. My name is Carolyn Chance Sangthong, and my address is on file. I am speaking tonight not as an opponent of progress, but as a concerned neighbor who believes that progress must be thoughtful and respectful of the community it serves. We all share a commitment to a well-planned city, and it is in that spirit I ask you to take a closer look at the rezoning request from Mr. Parker. On its surface, this request might appear straightforward because our neighborhood is RLD 60. But on page 5 in the book, you'll notice the plat from the development in 1957, with these large 100-foot wide lots. The RLD 60 possibly is an anomaly. It exists on paper, and it was probably laid on this property 10 years after development during the consolidation. As the LUZ committee, your job is to ensure that development aligns with the 2045 plan. And we as the community rely on you to make decisions that serve the best interests of our neighborhoods. In that spirit, I believe this request raises critical concerns. The most important is that with RLD 60, frankly, it leaves the door open for specifically a mobile home community. A denial that you all gave last time for the PUD because that was the plan. With RLD 60, he would certainly be able to make those as the single-family dwelling, not of any fault of his own, but because of our own city code not recognizing the difference between a site-built home, a mobile home, or a manufactured home. If Mr. Parker were to propose a planned unit development, a PUD with site-built homes, we could support it because a PUD provides greater assurances to the neighborhoods even on these smaller lots. Secondly, I am concerned about the collective impact of the adjoining infrastructure. And on page 11, we've noted that Kia has been redeveloped. There are new townhouses coming together, and they all touch Mr. Parker's property. They're all right there together. My property is downstream from the retention pond where the overflow from those retention ponds go. So I see after every rainfall the difference in Fishing Pen Creek, and it does rise even after the most modest storm. The cumulative effect of multiple developments must be considered. We have a unique opportunity here to guide this development in a way that respects both our community's history and its future. Denying this rezoning request is not a denial of development, but it is an invitation for Mr. Parker to return with a more comprehensive PUD plan that we as neighbors feel we can support. I trust you will consider our concerns with this deliberation and foresight that this decision requires. Thank you for your time.
All right, next we have Elizabeth Reyes.
Hello, Elizabeth Reyes. Address is on file, and I oppose. Let's look at the applicant's history. Earlier this year, Mr. Parker filed a PUD for 50-foot lots with manufactured homes. As he admitted, he could not afford to build site-built homes. That request was denied. Now he seeks RLD 60, which allows manufactured and modular homes because they are considered single-family dwellings under the code. So I ask you, has the intent really changed or only the label on the application? Next, his track record of compliance. On page 14, 15, and 16, you can see where it's noted where he's been cited for not following the rules. He moved campers onto the property, renting them out, being cited, and only fixed the problem when he was forced to. If rules have already been ignored, what assurance does council have that they will be followed once rezoning is granted? Now, consider the comprehensive plan. FLU 1.3.1 and 1.3.3 require compatibility. Our neighborhood lot 1.3 and FLU 1.31 and 1.33 require compatibility. Our neighborhood lots average 100 feet wide. This seeks is that really compatible with the surrounding neighborhood? H2.1.2 encourages responsible development. Does the history of violations meet the standard? And let us not forget, neighbors have rights too. We have the right to compatibility. We have the right to protection from flooding and traffic hazards. We have the right to stability in our homes we invested in on our 100-foot lots. So I ask you, if rezoning is approved without conditions, who protects us? Finally, the law is clear. Under section 656.125, the burden of proof is on the applicant to show consistency with the comprehensive plan. That burden has not been met. So the question is, if the evidence isn't here, how can council approve the request in good conscience? Council members, this is more than just zoning requests. It's a question of trust, responsibility, and balance. The unanswered questions create doubt, and when doubt exists, the safe choice is to deny. I respectfully ask you to vote against Ordinance 2025. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Ann Staley.
Thank you. My name is Ann Staley. My address is on file. On page 3 of the booklet given to you, the map is from the city of Jacksonville, showing the proposed resort zoning in a high archaeological sensitive area. In fact, it appears about 90% of it is affected. What are the ramifications of development on these lands? Have appropriate studies and investigations been completed? What needs to be done before rezoning is granted? On page 5, plats created in 1957 show the neighborhood was developed as country lots, large and spacious, with an average lot size of about 100 feet. We were in the county and we were in the country at that time. After the city-county consolidation in 1968, the city decided to rename them to RLD 60, which is now the problem. On paper, the rezoning of the proposed property looks good. However, it does not fit the current neighborhood and is not compatible. This rezoning conflicts with the 2045 Comprehensive Plan on Neighborhood Compatibility and Responsible Growth. On pages 4, 10, 11, and 13, they attest to the flooding, traffic, and safety issues for the neighborhood, which all remain unknowns due to this development and nature's own attack on the land. Developing this land in an unresponsible manner will create havoc on the neighborhood. Change is inevitable. However, rezoning that does not protect the quality of life of the neighbors, nor works with maintaining the characterhood of the neighborhood, and does not provide for the safety of those who live there, should not be approved. The Southwest CPAC Land Use and Zoning Committee voted to deny this rezoning. I strongly oppose it. I respectfully request that you do the same. I suggest exploring options that preserve green spaces, the wetlands, and minimize the impact on the community. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Tyler Jeter. All right. Don't wish to speak, but opposes the rezoning. Deborah Lowe, here, opposes, does not wish to speak. Dylan Prescott, does not wish to speak. Well, he does not wish to speak, and he opposes. Joanne Prescott, come on down. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Prescott, and my address is on file. I am here in opposition to the attempted rezoning of Pernicia again. We've had many meetings among the residents. We've filled out petitions. We've emailed. We've phoned. We have spent numerous times here at the council, and now here we are at the end. Will you vote to keep our neighborhood footprint the same? Or will you vote for more traffic and flooding for our small community? These are the facts. This rezoning conflicts with the mayor's 2045 comp plan. There's a record of code violations and a disregard for the rules from Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker's traffic study will increase traffic by 100 cars per day on a road that only has 10. He says, he makes it sound like they're going to pull out of his neighborhood and drive right up and down Pernicia. There's 6 other blocks. Be clear, they'll be going down all our streets. I have 4 homes on my street, 4. So that's going to increase everything. So it does affect all of us. 12 homes, 16 manufactured homes. Neither one of them match the aesthetic of our neighborhood. We currently have no 60-foot lots in our neighborhood, none. We have attempted to communicate with Mr. Parker and come to a plan acceptable for everyone. Unfortunately, we are at a stalemate. Mr. Parker wants more homes. and we would like less. We ask that you vote no. Let our small West Side neighborhood remain the same. Change is not always for the better. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Matt Burnett.
Thank you. Matt Burnett, my address is on file. I would like to commend Councilman Dr. Johnson for the meeting that we had after the last time we were here. He gave time for each of the people to speak that were from the community as well as the developer. And it seemed to me when I left that it was very reasonable to consider the fact that this zoning request be rejected in preference of a planned unit development where the community could have some communication with the developer and come to some terms that would make them more happy and myself. And there are many issues to be discussed, but I believe that something could come to a compromise that would be reasonable for everyone. Additionally, that would lock in what was going to be done and not leave it open, which RLD 60 has an extremely wide option of things that could be changed. So the plan that's put together right now is very nice to some people, but it would not be required. It would just be something that would be said would be done, but with a planned unit development, that would be definite. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have Adam Jeter, who is in opposition and checked, does not wish to speak. Kenneth Alderman opposes, does not wish to speak. And Brooke Bradley opposes and does not wish to speak. Mr. Parker, you have 3 minutes for rebuttal, and we'll open it up for questions.
I'd just like to say one thing, and our property still has 12 remaining buildable lots that are all RLD 60. So my goal is just to match exactly the same as the rest of the neighborhood. And me going to RLD 60, there's some concerns with that, which is, conventional zoning. There's other lots that have the exact same zoning, that people could do, I guess, build out stuff. But that's really it. I mean, other than that, it's just the aesthetics. I'm required within RLD 60, like some of their concerns are already addressed in RLD 60, that I have to match the existing aesthetics of the neighborhood. And that's a lot of things: garages, roof pitch, type of shingles, type of siding, all that type of stuff, which will go through planning before it could get built. So whatever I build there, it will match the neighborhood by law required. That's it. Thank you.
All right. With that, we need to go to Councilmember Arias for some ex parte.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to declare ex parte. I received numerous emails, 22 to be exact, in opposition, and it's currently being filed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. So we'll go ahead and stay in the public hearing and see if there's any questions that we need to get answered. So Councilmember White, you're recognized.
I just want to do my ex parte. All my emails has been presented and sent to Legislative Services. Thank you.
All right. No other speakers. Councilmember Gaffney, you're recognized.
Thank you, through the chair. One of the things I didn't hear from the community is what they want. I heard a lot of things about what they didn't want, and maybe I missed it. But right now, Ms. Abney, right now it's a rezoning to change it 60-foot lots.
Through the chair to Councilman Gaffney, yes. So the request is to go from the existing zoning district of RR Acre, which would allow for 1 acre size lots, to RLD 60, which has a minimum lot standard of 60 feet in width and 6,000 square feet.
Okay, and how many homes you could put on the, 1 acre with 60-foot lots?
Well, the property has an existing land use category of low density residential, which is going to cap it at a max of 7 units per acre. To give it an exact number of dwellings is going to be hard to predict because they will have to expand Pernicia Street down the center of it in order to maximize the development potential of that lot. because those lots that they create have to have road frontage along an approved public or private right-of-way.
All right, thank you. And one more question through the chair to Mr. Parker. Excuse me if I missed this through the chair. How many homes you plan on building?
Planning to build 12, and that would be remove 2 mobile homes and build back 12 site-built homes.
All right. Originally, you started at what?
21.
21, and now you have came down to 12.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, so with that, we're going to close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. All right, motion is second on the bill. We're going to open it up for discussion. Councilmember Johnson, you're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Mr. Parker, the question is, I know the community, I've been trying to, go between and make sure we pull everybody together. One of the issues that the community had was ensuring, as was said earlier, that by right, you could, because of our code and the kind of quandary we're in and it not being proper, you could put mobile homes there. Are you willing to adjust this to a PUD just to ensure the community that there will be single-family, standalone homes that are not mobile homes? That was the question, again, from the community, and I sent that over today, and I know through our emails we really couldn't get there. And if not, just let me know, yes or no. Does that work for you?
I don't think it's totally true that I can put mobile homes. I believe that
You don't think I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I don't think it's totally true that I can put mobile homes. Like my mobile homes on there right now, I don't think would be allowed, other than the fact that they've been there for 35 years and they were permitted when they put there.
Actually, it is.
They have to be on foundations. They have to like site. Anyhow, let me answer the question.
Okay.
Yes, if we wanted to switch to a PUD with the only requirement of not manufactured or mobile homes, I'd be willing to do that. When we were having the conversations with the neighbors, it started to get, well, what's the siding? Is it going to be, brick? And is it going to be this in-house? What's the garage? It started to get too much. But if that's their only concern, I have no problem with that. I have no plans to put those.
Through the chair, Mr. Reingold, if the way it's written in regular zoning, in this zoning, it would be there is no differentiation as to a manufactured home or a mobile home or a brick home. It's just a domicile, correct?
To the chair, that is my understanding, but I'm going to defer to the planning department, whose authority is to interpret, enforce, and administer the zoning code.
Through the chair to Councilman Johnson. So when we refer to the term single-family dwelling, that includes traditional foundation home, and it also includes manufactured and modular homes. It does not include mobile homes.
So he could do a
manufactured modular home anywhere where in the zoning code it allows single-family dwellings.
Just not the actual mobile home. Okay. Correct. All right. If I may, just so the community, thank you, Mr. Parker. Could someone from the community, Ms. Heather, because I know we've been talking a lot, could you come up? Does that, and I know you've kind of been helping to corral everybody together, does that work with what you believe that you need if we can say that it will not be a mobile home specific? Because I know that was one of the issues that you had.
What we were really looking
You're fine.
What we're looking for is if he would switch back to his original PUD. He had told us that he would be fine with 12. Our main goal is that if it's a PUD, there's a site plan, there's something that we can see, that we know that the council will have him honor. But if he is approved in the RLD 60, there's no oversight. Technically, he could change his mind tomorrow if you approve it, and
But as it stands now, with the 60-foot lots and the 12 units, you'd be okay with that?
with a PUD.
Okay.
Correct? Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Parker, you said you would be okay with that as well? I know it's not what we wanted, but everybody, you compromise on the number of houses, through the chair, I'm sorry. You compromise on the number of houses. The community had to compromise on the size of the lots. I think we can find a happy medium there. It's not exactly what we wanted, but at least we have places for people to live. Would you be amenable to that?
Yeah, 60-foot wide lots, and I have to look at the exact number, but I believe 12 units sounds right. But there's only a limit to what I can put there. So the PUD
Would be acceptable.
I'm good with the PUD with that exception of no mobile homes. And are you wanting to include?
It'll be exactly what it is, the plan that you shared with us in the green room,
Yes.
but it'll just maintain it like it is, and that way it gives them assurance that there's not going to be an arcade that pops up or a Ferris wheel or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to
I'm not
put
sure
you on
that
the spot.
there's
I mean,
much. I'm not sure that there's much difference.
well, to them, I'll tell you the difference is
It's just the plan.
with the conventional zoning, as Mrs. Hetherington said earlier, with the conventional zoning, there is no guarantee. So you could say something. I'm not saying that we don't, I'm going to take you at your word.
Yeah.
But I know that the community really wants a more, some of these people have been living there, as you heard, for decades. They want something more substantive than just a gentleman's agreement. So what they're saying is they understand you live in the community, but they wanted something in writing that says, if we do this, here are the limits, and it would be based on what we agreed to tonight.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Abney, through the chair, is that possible? Obviously, I don't want to go back through this, and I know we don't want to have this to come back again, but is that possible for them to do that, to make the switch, or it'd have to go back through the whole process again?
Yes, so it would be a substantial change to the request that's currently made. So you're going from a conventional to a PUD with a site plan, written description, and all of that. So it would have to be subbed and re-referred from here and then go back through the process again. So go back to Planning Commission, City Council, LUZ, and then final vote with City Council.
Is there any way, through the chair, Mr. Reingold, is there any way to, I know the answer to this, but I have to ask anyway, any way to condition a conventional rezoning?
Through the chair to the council member, no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Johnson, for those questions because it definitely helped alleviate me. But I'm just going to put it out there. You're too nice because when you say you're going to take his word for it, I'm not going to take his word for it. We've been down this road too many times. That's the reason why we're still here after 6 months. I know that you feel the same way, if not even more than I do, because it's your district, which is why I could tell the Post right now, and if it was up to me, this is going downhill right now. I said this last time. I said this 3 months ago. I said it 6 months ago. I'm saying it again. The only way to have this go through is if you work with the neighbors, and you haven't given them any reasons for them to trust you. I guarantee you those trees are still sitting there, even though you said 2 weeks ago that you have somebody working on picking them up. And I haven't even driven by there, and without even asking you, I guarantee you they are still there. They are. So why should we trust you? I don't trust you. Simple as that. I said this last time. So the only way I would approve this to make sure that the neighbors and Mr. Johnson feel good about this is if you do what Mr. Johnson's asking you to do, make it a PUD, 12 homes, and no mobile homes, no manufactured homes, no nothing except only what the neighbors want. Because this is their neighborhood, it's not your neighborhood. All right, thank you.
All right. And guys, again, I just have to say this, look, there's got to be some level of decorum in here, and whether we're kind of throwing personal attacks right now, whether they're warranted or not is debatable, but let's just dial back on personal attacks on all that kind of stuff. I don't want to see that because that can really start spiraling in the wrong direction. So for what that's worth, we're going to continue to say that. So Councilmember White, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. Through the chair, I think it's a question or maybe some advice, or ask Mr. Reingold. For Mr. Parker, the way I see it, he should withdraw this, so it takes it off the table. The citizens know that, and if he comes back with the PUD, it starts over, and they'll have to have community meetings and try to get to a good place. Would that be the best avenue where we are right now, Mr. Reingold?
through the chair to Councilmember White. So there are a couple different avenues. You could certainly withdraw and have him start over. You could do a sub and re-refer. The only problem with the sub and re-refer right now is that I just don't have a written description and site plan and those types of things in front of me. So those are different options that you guys could consider.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. It doesn't matter. It's going to come back to us in the form of a PUD, whether it's new or, repurposed. It doesn't change anything. If anything, it might save us all some time. But for now, I mean, I guess it looks like it's ultimately going to just be. The question is, do we defer this so he can do that, or do we change it right here to a PUD? What's that form? What's that posture look like?
So to the chair, the only concern I have with just amending it right here on the fly is I'm going to have to file an amendment by the end of the week for a substitute that this is a PUD. And when I file that substitute, I need to have the revised map. I need to have the written description. I need to have the site plan. And if I don't have those things, then I don't have the necessary documents to file to get the substitute in the proper posture.
So my question is, what's the proper posture?
So you could open and continue, and then basically at the next LUZ meeting, when we have all of the documents, move to sub and re-refer, and then we would set new public hearings. And then, or you could, if the applicant agreed to withdraw tonight, then they could refile. I'm just trying to think of another option for us.
Okay, well, let me go to the staff and just ask kind of what y'all's take is. Y'all kind of deal with all the back end, behind stage, logistics, gymnastics. So what makes most sense for y'all first, and then we'll figure out what makes sense for everyone else, and we'll kind of get to a good landing spot.
So to the chair, I know the applicant has a site plan, so we can work with him on finalizing that. We do have a written description from the previous one that we can work with him to amend to meet what the citizens or the community has wanted. So we can work with him to get those ready for the next LUZ meeting, which is October 7th. So we can have it ready to sub and re-refer at the next meeting. That'll put it sub and re-refer at City Council on October 14th. And then he'll follow the normal procedures as if the application was filed for introduction on October 14th. So Planning Commission will be November 6th, City Council November 12th, LUZ, it'll be before y'all on November 18th, and then final vote with City Council on November 25th.
All right. I'll sign off on that just because it seems like so many logistical pieces that, I think you guys will know the best of. So open the public hearing, continue until 10:17 or 10:07?
Yes, I would recommend that you reopen up the public hearing and continue. I just have one note after you guys take care of that.
Okay, Councilmember Arias.
Thank you, Chair. Does he have to refile if that's the case? No, so there's not an additional fee, right? I just want to make sure he doesn't pay an additional fee. All right, thank you.
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. All right, so we're going to open the public hearing, and we're going to continue this public hearing until 10:07:25. Mr. Parker, you've got your marching orders. Community, thank you guys and gals for coming out and speaking up for your community. That's the best possible outcome when we get to these meetings. So with that, we will go on now. Oh, go ahead. Yes, sir, Mr. Reingold.
Yep. So I do want to remind the committee, the LUZ committee denied a PUD for this property for basically an RLD 50 product. If they're going to come back for a slightly modified product, which is closer to an RLD 60 product, I'm still going to ask at that time of this committee to go through the analysis of whether you feel like that application is a significant enough change to move forward with considering the application on its merits. It's just so close that I think it's important that this committee needs to consider that. But I also say that because to the folks in the audience is you've asked for a PUD, you want it to be more like an RLD 60 product. I think this committee is going to be a little bit disappointed when this comes back up as a PUD with an RLD 60 product, and then there's still a lot of opposition and concern and anger, and we're all back in the same place. I just make those notes.
Yep, and we don't want to see that. All right, Councilmember Gaffney. All right, quick question.
quick question to the chair. You said this LUZ committee denied the RLD 50? This committee right here, this body? I'm sorry.
So through the chair to Councilmember Gaffney.
And when?
It was 2024-980. I'm trying to pull up the date of that, but it was relatively within the last year.
Was it?
I'm hearing from staff March.
Was it just the RLD 50 issue, or was it RLD 50 because it was also mobile homes or whatever kind of homes? Okay, so it's not the RLD 50 alone. It was RLD 50 in conjunction with the mobile homes that are permanently attached and whatever. So just so we're all kind of remembering back correctly. All right, so we opened and continued the public hearing on that until 10/7/25. We're going to move on now to item number 18, 2025-516. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We're going to continue that public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 19, 2025-578. Open the public hearing. Get a staff report. And we're going to open the public hearing and get a staff. I'm just messing with you. Do we? 578?
Sorry, apologies.
It's okay. We like kind of keeping you on your toes over there.
Okay, Ordinance 2025-578 is a small-scale land use amendment for approximately 1.07 acres at 4672 Sunbeam Road between Shelley Road and Walker Circle. The applicant is seeking a land use change from residential professional institutional, RPI, to business park, BP, in the suburban development area to develop office uses as in flex space. The subject site is located along the collector roadway with access to centralized water, sewer, and transit services. The proposed amendment to BP would be complementary to the existing mix of small-scale office, business, and industrial uses in the area. For these reasons and others detailed in the staff report, the Planning Department recommends approval. The Planning Commission heard this item at their September 4th meeting and unanimously recommended approval with a vote of 7-0 and no discussion.
All right. Thank you for that. We will go ahead and go to our speaker card. Mr. Folks Huxford, here for questions only. All right. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Second? Sorry, still in the mode. All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill. No discussion. Open the ballot, record your votes.
Five yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-578. Item number 20, 2025-579. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. I have ex parte to declare. I met with Mr. Folks Huxford on May 6th at 2 o'clock in my office. We discussed the just the plan, the site plan, ish, and then the community involvement, the business owners, and this paperwork will be filed with Legislative Services. And with that, there's no other ex parte, so we'll open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0579, which is seeking to rezone approximately 1.07 acres from commercial residential office to a PUD to permit the development of up to 11,000 square feet of enclosed office flex warehousing space. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan and meets the internal and external compatibility factors. The subject property is located along Sunbeam Road, which is classified as a collector roadway, and this section of Sunbeam is currently operating at 35% capacity. The surrounding area is predominantly mixed use with a variety of commercial businesses that front along Sunbeam. We find this use to be compatible with the existing developments and the character of the area. In regards to landscaping, the department felt that there was adequate room along the Sunbeam frontage to provide the required trees along this frontage. So we are affording a condition that would require that these trees be planted along that Sunbeam roadway frontage. So the department is forwarding a recommendation of approval with one condition listed in your agenda, and then also a revised Exhibit 3 written description. Application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th, where there were no speakers in opposition and little discussion amongst the commissioners, and they voted unanimously for approval with that same one condition.
All right. Thank you so much. We have one speaker card, Mr. Folks Huxford. Questions only. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
Let's move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Absolutely. So the amendment does two things. First off, it attaches a revised Exhibit 3, which is the revised written description dated August 20th, 2025. And then additionally, it adds a condition to the PUD that the subject property shall provide the required vehicular use area frontage trees along Sunbeam Road as required by section 656.1215 of the current zoning code. Mr. Huxford, just assume that you're okay with that condition. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair. And I am seeing Mr. Huxford nodding his head up and down.
All right. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended with the conditions.
All right. We have a motion and a second on the bill as amended with conditions. All right. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-579. Item number 21, 2025-580. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. This public hearing is continued until 10/7/25. Item 22, 2025-581. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 23, 2025-582. Open the public hearing. Get a staff report.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-582 is for a small-scale land use amendment of 0.78 of an acre at 2828 West 12th Street and 0 Wickwire Street in Planning District 5 and Council District 9. The applicant seeks a land use change from low-density residential to light industrial in the urban priority area. The land use site is a portion of a larger parcel, which is 3.13 acres. That entire parcel is subject to the companion rezoning. The overall parcel has a split land use designation with LDR, low density residential, to the west and LI to the east. So if the land use is approved, the proposed amendment would change 0.78 of an acre from LDR to LI, which would unify the entire 3.13 acre site under one land use designation of LI. The site is currently developed with a transportation business, which includes a commercial office as well as parking, storage, and maintenance of tractor and trailers. The land use amendment is being sought to permit the expansion of the existing business. The proposed amendment would result in a compatible land use pattern with the LI designations north and east of the site, and there's also HI, heavy industrial, further east of the site. So for these reasons and others outlined in the staff report, the Planning Department forwards a recommendation of approval. The Planning Commission heard this item at their September 4th meeting and unanimously recommended approval with a vote of 7-0 and no discussion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We have one speaker card, Mr. Mike Herzberg. Questions only. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
All right, let's move the bill. Second.
All right. Motion is second on the bill. We're on number 582. Item number 23, 2025-582. Open the ballot. Record your votes.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2025-582. Item number 24, 2025-583. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0583, which is seeking to rezone approximately 3.13 acres from RLD 60 to industrial light to a PUD to allow for the continuation of an existing logistics office along with storage, parking, and maintenance of the business trucks and tractor trailers. Historically, the site was zoned for heavy industrial uses prior to the adoption of the city's 1990 comprehensive plan. With the adoption of the plan, this block was split zoned, with the eastern portion zoned as light industrial and the western portion zoned for residential. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan and meets the internal and external compatibility factors. The proposed development is in an area that has historically been zoned for industrial uses. There are residential uses to the west and south of the subject property, and the applicant will be providing additional landscaping buffers and screening in order to minimize the impacts to those neighboring properties. To the east of the subject property is industrial heavy zoned parcels, and they are also located in the industrial sanctuary overlay. The property will provide 15-foot landscape buffer along the western property boundary, which shall be located on the outside of a minimum 6-foot tall fencing. The application was also reviewed by traffic reviewers and development services and the transportation division, who had some traffic-related conditions to add to the report. So because of these reasons and those additional review in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval with 4 conditions listed in your agenda. Application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th, where there were no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and they ultimately voted for approval with those same 4 conditions.
All right. We will go to our speaker cards. Mr. Mike Herzberg, questions only. And seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
Let's move the amendment.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Sure, through the chair. The amendment is as follows. It's basically going to be 4 conditions. Parking shall be provided per Part 6 of the zoning code unless otherwise approved by the Development Services Division. Second, all landscaping except uncomplimentary land use buffers shall be provided per Part 12 of the zoning code unless otherwise approved by the Development Services Division. 3, a curb cement driveway apron from Huron Street shall be constructed and maintained consistent with profile provided in the City of Jacksonville Land Development Procedures Manual. And finally, 4, the business owner shall confine their operation to the interior limits of the subject property. Mr. Herzberg, are you agreeable to those conditions? Yep. Okay, I heard confirmation that he is yes in agreement with this.
All right. Thank you for that. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended with the conditions.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill as amended with conditions. Seeing no discussion, open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-583 as amended. Item number 25, 2025-584, open the public hearing. No speaker cards. All right, we'll get a staff report.
Ordinance 2025-584 is for a small-scale land use amendment of 2.6 acres at 0 Clare Lane. This is approximately 900 feet west of San Jose Boulevard, which is an intense commercial corridor at this location and home to a variety of commercial uses. The applicant is seeking a land use change from residential, professional, institutional to community general commercial on the northern portion of the site to permit luxury commercial condominiums, like storage and car condominiums, not people condominiums. The accessway and land along the westerly boundary of the site abutting residential uses would remain RPI and is not subject to this land use amendment. The subject site is in a transitional use area between the San Jose Boulevard commercial corridor and the residential uses to the west of San Jose Boulevard. The subject site is supplied with centralized water and sewer, is proximate to San Jose Boulevard, and is in an area with an existing mix of non-residential uses. For these reasons and others outlined in the staff report, the Planning Department recommends approval. The Planning Commission heard this item at their September 4th meeting and unanimously recommended approval with minimal discussion. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Ms. Trimmer, did you fill out a card? Well, we're still locating it, so we'll... Okay. Yeah, here it is. Ms. Trimmer.
Thank you so much. I filled out 2 of them, in fact, one for the next one. Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200, on behalf of the applicant. This is a site that was entitled dating back to the 80s that allowed for commercial type developments at the time. It was permitted to build an office condo park, and they started work on the site. If you look at the aerial, you can see a lot of the infrastructure was already laid. During the time that they were under construction, this concept of these kind of car condos, the glorified man cave, has come into existence, and there's so much demand for them, they wanted to incorporate that into this site. Under our code, we qualify those as more of a self-storage use, which you can't do in the RPI land use category. So working with staff, we worked it out to agree that we would keep the RPI land use as a buffer between what we're asking to convert to commercial on the site, which is the flag portion of the lot, and the office building that would still be in that portion would stay the office condo type use. And the commercial condos to allow for this luxury car condo would be located behind the shopping center, which is where you have the Bonefish Grill. So with that, I will stand by for questions.
Okay, we don't have any questions in the queue, so we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
All right, let's move the bill.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Trimmer. How many cars are they going to have, or how many units are they going to have in this facility? Better yet, not cars, but units. And how big of this facility would it be?
Through the chair, it would allow up to 23 units. If you see the site plan, there's 4 separate buildings for the car condo portion of it. And then the one that is lower down on the office condo, that's slated to be 5 office units.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you. No questions.
Okay. So I guess we already got the motion in the second. So, all right, open the ballot, record your votes.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-584. Next item is item number 26, 2025-585. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, we're going to open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0585, which is seeking to rezone approximately 3.07 acres from a PUD that was originally approved in 1980 to a new PUD. This is being sought to permit office uses, retail, commercial condominiums, and automobile storage. The proposed uses listed in the written description would include uses primarily found in the CRO, so that's commercial residential office zoning district, with the addition of commercial car condominiums and personal property storage. The current PUD from 1980 has uses that are more in compliance with CCG1 zoning district. The eastern portion of the property, the eastern portion of this PUD is developed as the San Jose Plaza, which is located at the northwest intersection of San Jose Boulevard and Clare Lane, and the applicant seeks to rezone just the western portion of the site that has remained vacant. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan, with the exception of the use for veterinarians, which would not be allowed within the RPI land use category. The subject property is located on the north side of Clare Lane, which is just west of San Jose Boulevard. The subject property is bounded by single-family dwellings to the west. To the north and south, you have office uses, and then to the east is higher intense commercial uses within that shopping center. So the proposed use will help to provide a gradual transition between the commercial uses to the east and the residential uses to the west. With the single-family dwellings to the west, the property will provide a 10-foot landscape buffer along that western boundary. And then to the northern portion of the site has wetlands that will be maintained along with a proposed stormwater management system. We find the proposed uses to be compatible with the existing established pattern of development, so therefore we are forwarding a recommendation of approval with the 2 conditions listed in your agenda. Application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th. There were no speakers in opposition and little discussion amongst the commissioners, and they voted unanimously for approval with those same 2 conditions.
All right, thank you so much for that. We have one speaker card, Mrs. Cindy Trimmer.
Thank you so much. Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200 on behalf of the applicant. I'll stand by the staff report and just add that we did sit down and meet with the councilman. He understands the history of the site and the existing entitlements. The one thing that we did talk about that he had expressed some concern was the existing traffic at the commercial shopping center and the queuing that happens on Clare Lane for that. And we discussed the fact that with this being a personal use facility with the car condos, it would generate less traffic than what the office entitlement that they were already permitted to build would generate. With that, I'll stand by for questions.
Okay, thank you so much. We don't have anyone in the queue, so we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
Let's move the amendment.
All right, motion and second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Absolutely. To the chair and to the full committee, the amendment just adopts two conditions. First, veterinarians are prohibited. And second, unless waived by the chief of traffic engineering or his or her designee, a traffic study shall be undertaken by the developer upon PUD verification. The methodology of the study shall be determined by the developer's traffic engineer, the chief of the transportation planning or his or her designee, and the chief of transportation engineering or his or her designee. Subject property shall be developed in accordance with the study, and as long as Ms. Trimmer agrees to that, I will turn it back over to the chair.
Through the chair, we're comfortable with the conditions.
All right. No veterinarians, huh?
Not on this one.
Okay, got it. All right, all in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended with the conditions.
All right, motion and second on the bill as amended with conditions. No discussion. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By our action, you approve 2025-585 as amended. Item number 27, we've already taken up. 28, we already took up. 29, we already took up. Goes to item number 30, 2025-589. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is PUD rezoning ordinance 2025-0589, which is seeking to rezone approximately 1.04 acres from a PUD that was originally approved in 1990 to a new PUD to allow for a variety of uses typically found in the commercial neighborhood zoning district. The current PUD governing the site permits commercial uses and was conceptually designed as a shopping plaza. Amendments to the PUD included restricting a minimum of 3,500 square feet of tenant space for any food or grocery sales establishments, and then also excluding off-premises consumption of all alcohol, including liquors, from the site. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the 2045 comprehensive plan with the existing land use category of neighborhood commercial, with the exception of a couple uses that are listed within the written description. The neighborhood commercial category is primarily intended to provide for commercial, retail, and service establishments which would serve the daily needs of the nearby residential neighborhood. The written description lists out uses for an establishment or facility which includes the retail sales of all alcoholic beverages for off-premises consumption, and then also express or parcel delivery offices and similar uses. While NC allows for the retail sales of beer and wine for off-premises consumption, it does not allow for the retail sales of liquor for off-premises consumption. Staff has conducted further review of the express or parcel delivery offices and similar uses and finds that the use would be allowed within the NC category. And so we are recommending to remove the condition that's listed in your agenda that would prohibit that use. The subject property is located near the intersection of Collins Road and Whispering Pines Drive. Adjacent properties include multiple single-family subdivisions. You have a Family Dollar, a Dollar General, and then a Gate gas station. We find the proposed development and uses except for the retail sales of all alcoholic beverages for off-premises consumption to be consistent and compatible with the surrounding uses in the surrounding area. So staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions. So condition 1, to remove retail sales of all alcoholic beverages for off-premises consumption, and then to only allow beer and wine for off-premises consumption by a zoning exception. Condition 2 listed in there, we are fine with removing after our further analysis. And then you have condition 3 and 4, which are traffic related. Application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th, where there were no speakers in opposition. The commission expressed concerns regarding a standalone package store, which would be the off-premises consumption sales use, but determined it would be appropriate if it was located in conjunction with some other commercial uses within the shopping center, more of a shopping center style development. The applicant stated that it was not the intent of the development and express support for the two amended conditions. So that's condition 1 and condition 2 that you see from Planning Commission in your agenda, which would prohibit a standalone package store and would prohibit drive-through in connection with a package store. And the commission voted unanimously for approval with the 4 conditions listed in your agenda from Planning Commission.
All right, thank you so much. We have one speaker card, Mr. Zach Miller.
Good evening, Zach Miller, 3203 Old Barn Court. Just a few more details on the planning department's report, which like I said to staff, at the planning commission, I agree with about 80% of. I now agree with about 90% of it. This was originally a PUD that was approved in 1990. It was for about 3 acres. The furthest west portion was purchased by Gate. They built a gas station there, the original PUD being a full shopping center over the entire property. Family Dollar or Dollar General, I get them confused because one's across the street, built the middle section, and then our property is sort of left with a PUD designation but no site plan. That's why we filed this application. The original PUD actually allowed for CG uses. That's in the PUD, and while there was proposed conditions limiting alcohol, those actually aren't in the legislation that was approved in 1990. Respectfully, neighborhood commercial does not bar alcohol sales, and I know that because the commercial neighborhood zoning allows by exception a facility which includes the retail sale and service of all alcoholic beverages, including liquor, beer, and wine for on-premises consumption. I also know that it doesn't bar package stores because at 8560 Paragon Drive, that's over off of Argyle Forest, there's a liquor store, and that's in the neighborhood commercial land use. If you look at the comprehensive plan, there's nothing about neighborhood commercial that provides any prohibitions on liquor sales. Neighborhood commercial is not about the use, it's about the intensity of use. That's why we were fine with the planning commission conditions that said no drive-through liquor stores. And if we did a liquor store, we couldn't do it by itself, meaning the building that we're proposing to construct is only 6,000 square feet. If we did a liquor store, we'd also have to have a Starbucks, a dry cleaning, a pizza place, a restaurant. It can't be a standalone package store. We think that's consistent with the comprehensive plan. We think that's consistent with the code, and we think that's why Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of those 2 conditions. That, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for that. We have no one in the queue, so there's no questions, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. All right, we have a motion and a second on the amendment. Did we already go through this amendment? Okay, go ahead. Darn.
Thank you.
We did.
So I'm assuming that the amendment was the Planning Commission amendment. So I'm going to go with the Planning Commission 4 conditions. So 1, prohibition of the sales of liquor for off-premises consumption as a standalone use. 2, prohibition of the sales of liquor for off-premises consumption via a drive-through. 3, unless waived by the Chief of Traffic Engineering or his or her designee, a traffic study shall be undertaken by the developer upon PUD verification. The methodology of the study shall be determined by the developer's traffic engineer, the Chief of Transportation Planning or his or her designee, and the Chief of Traffic Engineering or his or her designee. The subject property shall be developed in accordance with the study. Finally, the inclusion of a drive-through on the subject property and its configuration shall comply with city standards and is dependent on the approval of the Development Services Division or City of Jacksonville Traffic Engineering. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair and also look to Mr. Miller for approval.
Yes, approved. Just on the last condition, there's already a drive-through constructed on the property, so that should have already meet city standards. But yes.
Cool. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended with the Planning Commission conditions.
Motion and a second on the bill as amended. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-589 as amended with conditions. All right. Moving on to item number 31, 2025-590. Let's go ahead and open the public hearing, and We have quite a few speaker cards here, so we will first start with the applicant, Ms. Trimmer.
Good evening. Thank you so much. Cindy Trimmer, 1 Independent Drive, Suite 1200, on behalf of the applicant. Much like all of the applications that you're seeing over in Councilman Gay's district, we have had a community meeting. We got feedback from the surrounding area. We are continuing to have some smaller meetings with immediately adjacent neighbors. We also have a meeting coming up with the councilman this week, just to kind of give the community some certainty, because I know that there's a lot of people following this. The direction that it is going right now was originally asking for duplexes. They have worked with the sellers. They are pivoting to a single family product. The original density was over 60 units. The density that's going to be proposed is under 30, so reducing it by more than half. We heard concerns about traffic on Sterrett, the northern road, and originally had access on both Sterrett and Yellow Bluff. We have come up with a plan that we can cut off access on Sterrett, so we're not contributing to the queuing problems on that northern side of the property. Also putting some enhanced buffers in there. So all of this, we're working on updating a PUD to file with the staff, review with the council person, and hopefully be able to come back with a product that is more palatable.
Okay, thank you for that. So we have pretty much all the same cars. Maybe some of them have left or whatnot. So raise your hand if you wish to speak, and then I can know how to go to proceed through these cards. Okay. Is that you, Jason Reif? Okay, you wish to speak? All right, come on down. Everyone else, I'm just going to read their cards into the record.
Hey again, my name is Jason Reif, address on file. The address at Sterrett and Yellow Bluff Road, obviously we've talked about it at great length. We're getting ready to do the planning commission this week as well, as far as I understand. So we're going to handle a lot of things there. But with this property, we've discussed with the developer and such that the kind of things that we're looking for are more substantial than what they're doing. I mean, they've come a long way, I guess, from what she's saying, as far as cutting it in half. But for the area that it's in, all the adjoining properties around there are 2+ acres. It's not consistent with the area or the immediate area or within that 350-foot buffer. So myself and others that can't be here via email have expressed their disdain for that and their opposition to this. And I guess I'll leave it at that because, like I said, we have the Planning Commission to talk to on Thursday, and then we'll come back to you guys at some other time. But thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Drost, do you wish to speak? All right, come on down.
Again, good evening, gentlemen. Name
and address.
Jim Drost, address on file. I also want to convey the same sentiments as Mr. Reif. They have made great strides in correcting what we are looking for. Ideally, we're still looking for 15,000 to 20,000 square foot lots. They have made a step to get rid of the duplexes, which we really appreciate. They're coming in with homes. Unfortunately, we feel because of the adjoining properties, and we are directly impacted by this, that they stick to the 2045 plan and stick to what it's ruled at right now. And, you know, we're willing to negotiate through the process even a little more, but ideally we would still prefer to have acre lots back there. We would be happy with 15 to 20,000, which was almost a third of an acre. And we'd be content, I believe, with that, but we're still shooting for the larger lots that are compatible with where we're at on our properties. Thanks.
All right, thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to speak before I read the cards? Mr. Chairman, I'll give you time at the end after I read all these. Is that good? Okay. All right, so we have Mr. Edward Nagel is opposed, Robert McFeely opposed, Jane Love opposed, Thomas Smith opposed, Nora Sweat All these are opposed. Jim Sweat, Joanne Greco, Michael Curtin, Karen Curtin, Tom Mack, Kathy Nagel, John Spurgeon, Nicole Repovich, Beverly Lewis, Joseph Lewis, Ruth Nelson Peoples, Mary Kreider, Donna Leeton, Linda Mack, Gail Smith, Risa Grant, Francis Eckert, John Greco, M. Drost, Ann Eckert, Karen Gasson, James Pippin, Catherine Del Rey, Shirley Spurgeon, Laura Fulford, Joanne D'Angelo, and Erica Zimmerman. Okay. All right. Put a little note down there that you do wish to speak, but maybe change your mind. So with that, those are all the cards in opposition. And Ms. Trimmer, the floor is yours for 3 minutes for rebuttal.
Thank you so much. I just heard somebody reference Planning Commission on Thursday and wanted to make sure anybody that's listening knows staff held off on issuing a staff report because we had advised them that we were working to revise the ask and didn't want them to spend the time writing a staff report on duplexes when we've abandoned doing them. So this will not be taken up on September 18. The target right now is October 9. Since we have a fifth week, it's a couple extra weeks out. But there will not be any action taken on September 18. We are looking to take it up at Planning Commission on October 9. Okay.
Does that make the neighbors get that? Just make sure that circulates to your folks. 10-9 Planning Commission. So 10-7, we're not taking any action here, and feel free to come and fill out the cards, but I think the discussion would be better heard after Planning Commission as well. Do we need to continue the public hearing until after 10-9?
Through the chair, if that's the will of the applicant and the committee, then we probably could just defer it till 10/21, and that way on 10/7 it would just be marked as deferral.
Okay, we're going to defer this until 10/21/25. Good. All right. Moving on to item number 32, 2025-591. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get staff report.
Losing it. This is conventional rezoning ordinance 2025-0591, which is seeking to rezone approximately 2.3 acres from CCG1 to CCG2 to allow for the retail sales of new and used automobiles by a non-franchise motor vehicle dealership. The subject site is currently operating as a dealership, but has operated as a non-franchise dealer since 2017, but they will be operating under a different brand name, so the property is being sold to a new dealership. The CCG1 zoning district was amended through ordinance 2018-0538 to remove non-franchise dealers as a permitted use within the CCG1 zoning district, and now only allows them within the CCG2 zoning district. So CCG1 is only limited to franchise dealerships. The proposed use in CCG2 zoning district is compatible with the surrounding area, given that the two properties to the east of the subject site are already zoned CCG2 and have been operating as established dealerships. The subject properties are located south of Arlington Expressway, which is just east of Atlantic Boulevard and the Arlington Expressway intersection. The surrounding site is a commercial hub centered within the Regency Commercial Mall site, which is to the north, and many commercial centers surrounding the site. So approval of the rezoning would be expanding the CCG2 zoning district west along Arlington Expressway. Staff finds that the proposed district is consistent and compatible with the surrounding area, so therefore we are recommending or forwarding a recommendation of approval. Application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th, where there are no speakers in opposition and little discussion, and they voted unanimously for approval.
All right. Thank you so much. We have one speaker card, Mr. Josh Cockrell. Questions only. Any questions? Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. All right. Motion and second on the bill. Seeing any discussion? Seeing none, I'll open the ballot, record the vote.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-591. Item 33, 2025-592. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 34, 2025-593. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 35, 2025-594. Open the public hearing. No speaker cards. We'll continue this public hearing until 10/7/25. Item number 36, 2025-595. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to declare ex parte. I spoke to the applicant today regarding the zoning and actually the waiver of minimum required for the frontage, and it's being filed with Legislative Services. Thank you.
All right, open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is waiver of road frontage 2025-595 for property that is located along Phillips Highway just south of the Avenues Mall. The waiver seeks to reduce the required road frontage for an out parcel in an existing shopping center from 35 feet to 0 feet in order to allow for the development of a commercial parcel. Parcel is located along Phillips Highway but fronts an unapproved private right-of-way, Keskin Avenue, which intersects with Phillips Highway. Property is currently vacant and will remain vacant until or unless the property is approved for the waiver. Staff has reviewed the request and finds it meets the zoning criteria to grant approval. This is a unique situation due to the frontage being along Keskin Avenue, which acts more as an internal driveway and does not have direct access along Phillips Highway. Keskin Avenue will provide adequate access to the subject property for customers and emergency services, so we forward a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you so much. Is Mr. Davis here? Okay, he's not here. Go ahead. All right, what? If you're not here, I mean, Councilman Reyes, did you have something to say?
I do.
Okay.
All right, through the chair. Relax. All right. I spoke to the applicant. I do know the location. Obviously, it's in my district, but also I know the business owner as well. They have another location off of San Jose Boulevard, so this is a perfect fit for my district. So I actually advised the applicant to not come because I already addressed this with the applicant and the business owner. So I've already vetted this, and I do appreciate your concerns, but...
So you're asking for some grace for me not to defer this because he's not here. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
you say?
I mean, normally when you defer, you would ask the district council member, and I'm telling you, I mean, I don't see a need, but if you want to defer, by all means, I will oppose that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. He'll oppose it. He'll oppose it. Yeah. Okay. It's not a motion. All right, 2025-595. Looking for a motion on the bill. Yep, close the public hearing. Bring back to committee. Motion. Do we have a second? All right, open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-595. Item number 37, 2025-596. Council members, declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. All right, Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Yes, Chair, thank you so much. Same thing, I spoke to the applicant today via phone and discussed the ordinance, and it's being filed as we speak. Thank you.
Told him not to come. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is the companion administrative deviation 2025-596, seeking to reduce setbacks, parking, terminal islands, landscape buffers, and increase driveway width. This is a unique situation given the small size of the parcel. It's 0.12 acre parcel, which was subdivided from a larger parcel around 1991 and has remained vacant and undeveloped since. The applicant seeks to construct a commercial use on the property similar to adjacent uses. Due to the small size of the property, this deviation is necessary to relax some of the development regulations of CCG1 and Part 12 landscaping requirements. The proposed deviation is unlikely to diminish property values in the surrounding area or alter the essential character of the area, as much of the surrounding area is developed as commercial. So for these reasons and those in the staff report, we forward a recommendation of approval.
All right, thank you so much. We have no speaker cards, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. We have a motion and a second on the bill. Open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-596. The following items are deferred with a public hearing next cycle on 10/7. Item 2025-623, 624, 625, 626, 627, 628, 629, 630, 631, which brings us to item 47, 2025-632. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, open the public hearing, get a staff report.
Thank you. This is zoning exception 2025-632, which seeks to allow retail sale and service of all alcoholic beverages, including liquor, beer, or wine, for on-premise consumption in connection with the 13th floor haunted house located within the Regency Shopping Center along Arlington Expressway. The property is currently developed with the multi-tenant shopping center, where 13th floor is operating a haunted house annually, and they are seeking to expand their house to include a bar. Staff has reviewed the request and finds the use to be consistent with the existing land use category of regional commercial. We find the use to be appropriate and compatible with the existing surrounding developments of commercial uses, which include several restaurants with alcohol sales. As outlined in the staff report, the planning department finds the zoning exception meets the standards and criteria and forwards a recommendation of approval with the one condition listed in the agenda. The application does have a companion waiver of liquor distance, WLD 2508, between the facility and the North Florida School for Special Education, which is located on the western side of the South Side Connector. This application was heard by Planning Commission on September 4th, where the Commission voted unanimously for approval with one condition.
All right. Thank you so much. Is the applicant here? Okay. Okay, just making sure. Is there any questions in the public hearing? Okay, we've seen none. Let's go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee and look at the amendment.
All right, let's move the amendment.
Motion is second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Absolutely. The amendment is to adopt that the zoning exception granted herein shall not be effective unless or until the required waiver of minimum distance requirements for liquor license location, WLD 2508, pursuant to section 656.133 of the zoning code, is issued for the subject property.
All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill with the conditions. Second.
Motion is second on the bill as amended with the conditions. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
Chair, thank you, Chair. I just have a question for the applicant, and maybe I'm not sure if he could answer this or not, but is this business, obviously we've all heard of it already, but this is for the 13th floor, or is this for something else?
No, it's for the 13th floor.
Okay, and is this business operating throughout the entire year or just for the season?
No, just the season. We have a couple off-season events, like in February and May, but that's like one weekend at a time.
Okay, so safe to say that this is not just for the season, it's for all year, right? Is what you're needing this exception for?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Yep.
Can you put your name and address on file, please, sir?
Yeah, it's Ben Tucker. Address is 11585 Starlight Lane. Yeah, for the applicant.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I did fill out a card. I think it got mixed in with some of the other ones, though.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Easy. No. All right. So I think we have voted on the amendment. We moved it. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-632. Yep. And we have Councilmember Johnson in the queue.
Now that it passed, I can talk about it. Hey, the 13th floor folk, Ben, make sure through the chair. This is I'm interested to see that this is probably the bill I've been waiting on all night to see where it would go. I didn't know you were going to add this part into it, but just a little bit. I haven't missed an event since you've been open. I want to say congratulations to them because they were just nominated as the top haunted house in the country by USA Today. And I get the text messages because I'm a frequent flyer, so to speak. But the other thing is the Terror on Church Street was a year-round thing that brought a lot of attention to Orlando. So I love to see that Jacksonville is finding unique ways to really expand our entertainment base. So thanks for the work you do for our city.
All right. We are on item number 48, 2025-633. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none. Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Arias.
Yeah, thank you, sir, Chair. I just wanted to declare ex parte on council night, whatever day that was last Tuesday. I did speak to the applicant in the green room. to talk about this legislation, and it's currently being filed as we speak. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing and get a staff report.
This is zoning exception 2025-633, which seeks to permit the retail sale and service of all alcoholic beverages, including liquor, beer, and wine for on-premise consumption in connection with the restaurant Hamburger Mary's 2.0. The subject property is located along Edgewood Avenue South within the Murray Hill neighborhood, with the proposed business operating within a neighborhood shopping center with multiple tenants. The unit previously operated as El Jefe Tex-Mex, which received approval for the same request through zoning exception E1732. Staff has reviewed the request and finds the use to be consistent with the existing land use of CGC. We find the use to be appropriate and compatible with existing surrounding developments of commercial uses, which include adjacent tenants, Tradewinds Bar, and other alcohol-related uses along Edgewood Avenue, including Fishware Brewing Company, Moon River, Flamingos, Perfect Rock Billiards, Buckner's Beer Hall, Mustang Whiskey Bar and Grill, and Beer 30. As outlined in the staff report, the Planning Department finds the zoning exception meets the standards and criteria and forwards a recommendation of approval with one condition listed in your agenda. This application does have a companion waiver of liquor distance, WLD 2509, between the facility and nearby churches, which is scheduled to be heard by Planning Commission on October 9th.
All right, thank you for that. I do have several speaker cards, so I'm going to call each out right now. Kimberly Mahaffey, followed by Blake Shepard. Excuse me? Who's the applicant? I don't see the applicant here. Kimberly, can you just have a seat for a second, please? Sure. I'm going to call somebody else up. Thank you. Applicant, if you don't mind coming up and just state your name and address, and I'll put it to the side here. Yep.
Hi, Brandon Stanko, 2144 Birch Bark Court East.
Thank you.
And I'm really here to stand on the recommendation of the committee as well as answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I do have your card here. Are you the lobbyist or the agent?
I am the attorney.
Okay, all right.
Listed as the applicant on the agenda.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right, you may have a seat. I'm now going to call Kimberly Mahaffey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kimberly Mahaffey. My address is 2695 Julie Lane. I'm here to ask the committee to deny the exception for 947 Edgewood Avenue South, also known as Hamburger Mary's 2.0, case 2025-633. You should all have a copy of the petition and impact statements. Within a 4 square mile radius, there are more active 4 COP bars and restaurants over any other residential area in Duval County. We definitely do not want a King Street or a Five Points where a bunch of drunks are hanging out, walking around till 3 a.m. and causing havoc and possible violence. Even if we were in favor of this exemption, we have a lot of concerns that need to be addressed and proved that Hamburger Mary's can abide by the city, state, and federal laws and be responsible business owners. They are already illegally bringing premium alcohol in, as you can see by the manager owner's wife in a text to an employee, and empty liquor bottles in a garbage can. See Exhibit B, please. It was also brought to our attention after last week's city council meeting that the owner and manager, Mary's, really don't have a clue as to what city health and fire violations mean. It means you failed and you have to fix those items and get re-inspected ASAP, or you could be shut down. They still have the same open violations and permitting issues today as they did in April and May. Again, see the letter you have back up. Giving these allegations and granting them exception for liquor sales would not serve the public interest or uphold the integrity of the licensing process. We request that full investigation is done through each department, and they are required to get all these violations passed so it can become a safe place for employees and patrons. The city and fire health have been giving them more and more time, even if this means being temporarily closed for a couple weeks until all these violations can be fixed and passed, which is putting employees and patrons in danger, especially with no fire sprinklers in working order. We aren't even sure that they have liability insurance. What if something does happen? Would love to reevaluate this in 3 to 6 months and, see what they can do with this bar. We all want Mary's there. We just want it done legally. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Blake Shepard.
I was only supposed to speak to answer questions, but I can answer a couple questions. And
Oh,
address,
okay. Sorry, I got you
couples.
as questions only if that's what you
Yes.
prefer. Okay, no problem. All right, and then I guess the rest of these are questions only. So Alexis Carter, questions only, opposes. William, could be Peer, opposes, questions only. Peyton Pinkle opposes. Nathan Pinkle opposes. Carrie Mae Wiley opposes. Zachary Morgan opposes. So that is all the speaker cards. Mr. Brandon Stanko, if you would like for rebuttal, you can.
Yes, thank you. I'd simply point out that the items brought up aren't zoning items, and what we're asking for is a zoning. Items brought up were licensing and possible continuing violations. Those can be handled on their own, but we would ask that at this time the zoning exception be granted.
All right. Thank you for that. Councilmember Arias, you're recognized.
All right, thank you, Chair. I heard this last week at Council Night, and I want to treat this the same way we treat all other exceptions for liquor, whether it's 4 COP or 2 COP, and in this case, this is no different than the one we just approved, so I just urge my colleague to support this just because, like I said, we just approved one literally 5 minutes ago. Whatever issues they have between their business and individuals, that's not what we're discussing today. We're discussing literally what we normally do on every other Tuesday. So I just urge you to make the right choice based off of the facts that we have at hand here. Thank you.
All right. With that, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
Let's move the amendment.
Motion and a second on the amendment. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Absolutely. Through the chair and to the committee, the zoning exception granted herein shall not be effective unless or until the required waiver of minimum distance requirements for a liquor license location, WLD 2509, pursuant to section 656.133 of the zoning code is issued for the subject property. And just looking for Mr. Stanko to give me the thumbs up or agreement that he's okay with that condition, and I see his approval with that condition.
All right. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment carries.
Move the bill as amended with the conditions.
Motion a second on the bill as amended with the conditions. No discussion. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-633 as amended. Number 49, 2025-634. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
Thank you. This is waiver of road frontage 2025-634, seeking to reduce the required road frontage for one single-family dwelling from 80 feet to 30 feet for a property zoned RR acre. The subject property is approximately 1.09 acres in size and located on the south side of Collins Road. The parcel was recently subdivided from a larger neighboring parcel and is seeking to develop the newly created property for one single-family dwelling. Access to the property will be by way of a 30-foot wide access strip extending south from Collins Road, where the parcel expands out to approximately 200 feet in width. Staff has reviewed the request and finds the proposed reduction in road frontage would not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare. The property meets all requirements of the zoning district in regard to acreage and lot width. Therefore, we forward a recommendation of approval.
All right. 634. Do we have any speaker cards? No? Barbara Erzinger? She's here? Okay, no questions. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to committee.
All right, let's move the bill.
Second? All right, motion and second on the bill. No discussion. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-634. Item number 50, 2025-635. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
This is waiver of road frontage 2025-635, seeking to reduce the required road frontage from 160 feet to 0 feet to bring into compliance an existing dwelling and to allow the property to build a second single-family dwelling. The parcel contains approximately 4 acres with one single-family dwelling currently existing. This home is accessed through a neighboring parcel, which is an access easement which the owner sold in 2003, thus landlocking their property, however retaining a legal easement. The owner seeks to split off 1.94 acres of the northern half of their 4-acre property to allow for a second single-family dwelling in which a family member is expected to reside in. This property will also be accessed through the same legal easement granted to the parent parcel. Staff has reviewed the request and finds the proposed reduction in road frontage will not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare. The property meets all requirements of the zoning district in regard to acreage and lot width, and therefore we forward a recommendation of approval.
All right, we will go ahead and bring it back to committee. We have no speaker cards, so we'll close this public hearing and bring it back to committee for discussion. All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill. No one in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-635. Item number 51 was already taken up. Item number 52, 2025-637. Council members, please declare any ex parte communication you have at this time. Seeing none, let's open the public hearing and get a staff report.
This is sign waiver 2025-637, which seeks to reduce the minimum setback for the minimum setback of a sign from 10 feet to 1 foot. The request is being sought so that the existing sign can be moved and a cross-connection access way can be built between the subject site and the neighboring property 2386 Dunn Avenue. The Code of Subdivisions requires the site to come into compliance and provide a new cross-access point between both neighboring commercial sites under Chapter 654-115 due to a new proposed 4,000 square foot building on site. While the proposed location of the access does not line up with the vehicle use area of the neighboring site today, it does provide a point for the neighboring property to line up with in the future when they are required to provide their own. Staff finds the request to be appropriate as it allows the property to be brought into conformance with current code, along with alleviating traffic conditions along Dunn Avenue. For these reasons and those listed in the staff report, staff forwards a recommendation of approval.
Okay, thank you so much. We have one speaker card, Mr. Charles Knight.
Yes, I can be here for questions.
Okay, questions only. Seeing none, let's close the public hearing and bring it back to committee. Motion and a second on the bill. No discussion. Let's open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2025-637. Following bills are on second reading, but stick around. We do have one in the very back that we need to go over. So the following bills are on second reading: 2025-674, 673, 674, 675, 676, 677, 678. And that brings us to the last agenda item up for action, which is item number 59, 2025-679. Looking for a motion on the amendment. All right. Can someone please explain the amendment?
Absolutely, to the chair and the committee. The amendment will add an additional administrative deviation request to the application, which will be to reduce the required lot width from 90 feet to 50 feet. And with that, I turn it back over to the chair.
All right. So with that, we will, is this just verbal? Okay. All right. All in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The amendment carries.
All right, move to refer as amended.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the bill to be re-referred as amended. Open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have amended and re-referred 2025-679. Council members, committee members, that concludes our agenda. We are adjourned.